Chapter 1. The Emperor's State, one of the 3,000 mystical states in the Huangtian mystic realm, was where the Jun family, a family of the ancients, resided. The Jun family was an extremely glorious force in the mystic realm. It had been passed down for countless eras, and its ancestors had produced supreme emperors. During this time, the entire Emperor's State and even the Huangtian mystic realm were trembling. Phantoms of dragons and phoenixes surrounded the void sacred island where the Jun family resided, letting out dragon roars and phoenix cries. It was rumored that the offspring of a legendary figure in the Jun family was finally about to be born after 10 years of pregnancy. Inside the Heavenly Emperor Palace on the void sacred island of the Jun family, many elders of the Jun family were breathing heavily as they looked at the baby in swaddling clothes. Ever since it was born, the baby had never cried or made a fuss, but its large eyes were filled with confusion. However, the elders were more concerned about the baby. Its entire body was surrounded by golden light, making it look like a young dragon. An elder took a deep breath and said, "This is the sacred body of the ancients." Yes, this is definitely the sacred body of the ancients. Why does the heavens treat the Jun family like this? Another elder lamented. They were not surprised that the sacred body of the ancients had appeared in the family. Instead, they were very disappointed. The reason was simple. During the ancients, the sacred body was indeed very powerful. It was enough to rank in the top 5 among the 3,000 physiques. It could compete with the eternal divine body, the chaotic divine body, and the heavenly tyrant body. The sacred body of the ancients could even challenge the great emperors. However, in recent times, the laws of heaven and earth changed drastically. The environment was no longer suitable for the cultivation of the sacred body of the ancients. 10 shackles even fell from the heavens to restrict the growth of the sacred body. At that moment, the baby, who was none other than Jun Xiaoyao, had a confused look on his face. I've traveled through time and come with a useless sacred body of the ancients? Jun Xiaoyao was an orphan in his previous life, who was adopted by a blind fortune teller. The blind man said that although he was poor and lonely in this life, he would be blessed by the heavens in his next life and reach the pinnacle of life. Jun Xiaoyao did not believe it at that time. However, an accident took his life. When he opened his eyes again, he was already a baby. It seems that I was born at the end of my life, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Jun Xiaoyao could tell from the words of the elders that the Jun family was a family of the ancients, which was extremely glorious. It could be said that while others were born at the starting line, Jun Xiaoyao was born at the finishing line. But Jun Xiaoyao, Jun Zaif the ancients, he thought of the ancients of the ancients of the ancients, Jun Xiaoyaos of the ancients of the ancients, of the system, ding the system. Ding ding. You check in system. Of the birth of the heavenly palace, of's birth palace. Ding. This check-in has triggered a critical strike of newcomer's luck. You can obtain a rare reward of more than 5 stars. Do you wish to check in? Of the ancients ents. Of the ancients had body. Check in, Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. Of the god. Of the. As soon as the system's voice was heard, Jun Xiaoyao felt an unparalleled power erupt from his body like a volcano. 10 illusory golden shackles appeared on the surface of his body. They were none other than the 10 shackles. What happened? The elders were startled, and they all looked at Jun Xiaoyao. Then, under the shocked gazes of the elders, the first golden chain broke, and a terrifying aura gushed out. Kacha! The second golden chain shattered once again. The entire Heavenly Emperor Palace was shaking, and light shone brightly. Then the third, the fourth, the fifth. In the end, the 10 chains were all broken. More than 10,000 of them appeared in the sky, and they were all worshipping in the direction of the Jun family's divine island. This strange phenomenon shocked the entire Huangtian mystic realm. Oh my God, what's going on? There are saints in the sky. They are worshipping in the direction of the Jun family of the Emperor's State. It must be the birth of the Qilin child of the Jun family. What kind of constitution does he have that he can trigger the pilgrimage of the 10,000 saints? Many ancient forces and great figures of the eternal dynasty in the 3,000 mystical states of the Huangtian mystic realm were amazed. Such a phenomenon was rarely seen since ancient times. Even when the great emperors of the ancient times were born, they were nothing like this. Many people were curious about what kind of constitution the Qilin child of the Jun family had. At that moment, the elders in the heavenly emperor palace, who were used to seeing the vicissitudes of life, were also stunned. An old man in a golden robe with white hair and beard said with tears in his eyes, "Haha, this is my grandson. My grandson has the bearing of a great emperor." The old man's name was Jun Zhantian, and he was a high-ranking elder of the Jun family. At that moment, he was dancing like an old child, holding Jun Xiaoyao in his arms, unable to contain his joy. Jun Xiaoyao was rather speechless when he heard that familiar phrase. He felt like an old general on a stage, with many flags behind him, as expected of his grandfather. This is great. A sacred body of the ancients that was born to break the shackles is indeed unheard of. You can't find a single one in a million years. An elder exclaimed, "With this child, the Jun family can fight for the throne." Haha, the Archean royalty dared to provoke the Jun family just because they have Long Outyen, who has the blood of the imperial dragon, and said that there is no one in the younger generation of the Jun family. What a joke. Another elder sneered. Although the Jun family reigned supreme in the Huangtian mystic realm and was extremely glorious, they were not without enemies. The Archean royalty, such as Zulong and Wanhuang Spirit Mountain, were forces that were hostile to the Jun family. There were also hidden dangers in places such as the Forbidden Zone and the Ancient Burial Ground. However, the elders believed that all these hidden dangers would be solved with the arrival of Jun Xiaoyao, because the Jun family had obtained a sacred body of the ancients that had broken the shackles. Rumble, golden blood flowed in Jun Xiaoyao's body. After breaking the shackles of the sacred body, his aura was also rising steadily. Tendon refinement, bone tempering, blood replacement, orifice opening, spirit gathering. Jun Zhantian and the elders looked on in shock. Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation had broken through 5 levels of the physical body. It was known that even some of the geniuses needed at least 5 years to reach the level of physical body of the ancients, and that was under the premise of the nourishment of many sacred medicines. However, Jun Xiaoyao had broken through 5 levels of the physical body in less than 15 minutes after he was born. A group of geniuses would have doubted their lives if the news got out. A sacred body of the ancients that has broken the shackles. What a freaking monster. Even the elders, who had seen a lot of the world, could not help but say vulgar words. However, what was more amazing was yet to come. Around Jun Xiaoyao, there seemed to be thousands of shadows of saints floating, chanting, and worshipping Jun Xiaoyao. Is this the vision of the sacred body, the pilgrimage of 10,000 saints? Jun Zhantian and the elders were so shocked that their minds went numb. Generally speaking, saint bodies and divine bodies all had their own unique phenomena. It is said that the sacred body of the ancients has 6 visions. When all of them are awakened, the 6 visions will form the 6 paths of reincarnation, which can defeat all enemies in the world. An elder's eyes were faintly burning. Jun Zhantian was grinning from ear to ear. He seemed to have seen the magnificent scene of thousands of races worshipping his grandson when he became emperor in the future. The elders aside, even Jun Xiaoyao himself could not help but sigh in awe. His talent was invincible, his background was invincible, and he even had a check-in system. How could the other geniuses of this era live? Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking if he should keep a low profile in the future, the system's voice was heard in his mind again. Chapter 2. Well, even the system doesn't want me to keep a low profile. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Ding. Check-in location refreshed. Please check in at the old tablet of Taiwei. Where's the old tablet of Taiwei? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. However, he was in no hurry. He was just a baby after all. Furthermore, He had already checked in and obtained a sacred body of the ancients. It was a perfect start. It was not too late to look for the next check-in location later. I got a sacred body of the ancients this time. I wonder what I'll get next time. Jun Xiaoyao was looking forward to it. At this time, Jun Tian slapped his forehead and said, "That's right, I haven't given my precious grandson a name yet. How about we call him Jun Changsheng? It means that he will achieve immortality in the future." Jun Xiaoyao, who was being held in his arms, was speechless. While the name Jun Changsheng sounded reasonable, he still wanted to use his own name. Some elders shook their heads and said, "Ah, that's not right. There are too many people named Changsheng. It's tacky." Nowadays, people and dogs dared to name themselves Changsheng. How could such a common name be worthy of the Jun family's Qilin child? At that moment, a weak voice was heard all of a sudden. "How about we call him Xiaoyao? My husband once said that it's easy to become a celestial being, but difficult for Xiaoyao. I only hope that my child will live as Xiaoyao for the rest of his life." A beautiful woman with a pale face, who was lying on the bed, said. She was Jun Xiaoyao's birth mother, Jiangro. Jun Jiantian and the others could not ignore Jiangro's suggestion. That was because Jiangro's identity was not that simple. She was a goddess of the Jiang family of the ancients. While the Jiang family was not as well known as the Jun family, they were still a family of the ancients. How weak could they be? All right, we'll call him Xiaoyao then. Jun Jiantian nodded. However, he seemed to have thought of something all of a sudden and sighed. Jun Xiaoyao's eyelids twitched when he saw that. It was only then that he realized that his father did not seem to be there. Don't tell me it's going to be the same old routine where the father worships the heavens and has boundless magical powers? Jun Wuhui, don't worry. Jun Wuhui is the white-robed god king. How could he die so easily? Moreover, when this child grows up in the future, it's not impossible for him to find his father who can help him, an old woman consoled from the side. That's true. Haha, I still have my precious grandson. Jun Jiantian regained his smile. Jun Xiaoyao blinked his eyes and secretly remembered how his father addressed him. The white-robed divine king, Jun Wuhui. Judging from this name, his father seemed to be of high status. If the news of Xiaoyao possessing the accomplished sacred body of the ancients gets out, I'm afraid it will cause a commotion in the mystic region. You should know that there are many forces who secretly want to harm the Jun family. An elder of the family said meaningfully. Do you mean that we should use some means to cover up Xiaoyao's divine body fluctuations? Jun Jiantian asked. The other elders nodded in agreement. The tallest tree in the forest is the first to be destroyed by the wind. Jun Xiaoyao was now the treasure of the Jun family. Nothing could go wrong with him. Since when did the descendants of the Jun family learn to be secretive? Can't they even protect a divine body? At that moment, a cold snort was suddenly heard from the sky. The entire Jun family was shocked. Countless eyes were cast above the heavenly emperor palace. That fluctuation, what a powerful aura. It's the great ancestor who is sleeping in the ancestral hall. He just climbed out of his coffin. Hiss! Even the great ancestor was alerted. Countless members of the Jun family gasped from all directions. That was a great ancestor of the Jun family. Many members of the Jun family would never have the chance to meet the great ancestor. However, Jun Xiaoyao was able to alert the great ancestor as soon as he was born. Many people were shocked and envious. In the heavenly emperor palace, Jun Jiantian and the other elders heard the sound. They were also shocked and hurried out of the heavenly emperor palace. A huge spatial fissure appeared in the void above the heavenly emperor palace. A thin, gray-robed figure appeared. It was an old man in a gray robe. His head and body were still covered in dust, as if he had just climbed out of the ground. However, his shriveled body seemed to contain a power that could shake the world. It was as if he had trampled all the realms under his feet. It's the 18th ancestor. Greetings, 18th ancestor. Jun Jiantian and the others hurriedly bowed. The gray-robed old man was a true great ancestor of the Jun family. He had been buried in the Jun family's ancestral hall for countless years. He would only awaken when the Jun family faced a major change, or when the family was at a critical juncture of life and death. Jun Jiantian and the others did not expect that Jun Xiaoyao's birth would attract the attention of the great ancestor. The 18th ancestor's figure flashed and appeared in front of Jun Jiantian. He took Jun Xiaoyao in his arms. His eyes were as deep as the sun and the moon as he looked at Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao blinked. He did not cry or make a fuss. Instead, there was a trace of curiosity in his eyes. Is this the great ancestor of the Jun family? What a powerful aura. It's even more powerful than Grandpa's, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. The 18th ancestor could not help but laugh and said, Well, the Jun family has another true dragon. You idiots actually want to overshadow this child's brilliance. 18th ancestor, I'm just afraid that someone will harm my grandson in the future. Jun Jiantian bit the bullet and said, Although the elders of the family were of high status, they were only juniors in front of the 18th ancestor. I'd like to see who dares. If those old farts dare to put aside their pride and attack Xiaoyao, I don't mind starting an immortal war. I'll turn the world upside down and blood will flow for billions of miles. The 18th ancestor's attitude was extremely overbearing. Jun Jiantian and the others secretly swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The Immortal War was a war started by immortal orthodoxies like the clan of the Ancients, the Supreme Dynasty, and the Archean royalty. This war could turn the mystic realm upside down and cause billions of people to bleed. It had been a long time since an immortal war started in the Huangtian mystic realm. I hereby announce that this child will be the son of God of the Jun family from now on. All cultivation resources will be given to him. Even if we have to pile them up, we will pile them up until he has a full-fledged sacred body. The 18th ancestor ordered. Jun Jiantian and the other elders nodded in agreement. Only a fool would not cultivate a sacred body of the ancients that was born to break the shackles. Furthermore, I'll give this child the qualification to be sequence 0. The 18th ancestor continued. What? The elders were shocked. If it was just to give the identity of the Son of God, it would be fine. After all, it was just a symbol of status. However, the sequence was different. The sequence of the Jun family was qualified to compete for the position of the family head. There were tens of thousands of people in the younger generation of the Jun family. However, only 10 people were qualified to be in the sequence. In other words, only these 10 people were qualified to compete for the position of the family head. Each of these 10 people was able to amaze an era. They were the 10 most outstanding geniuses of the Jun family. Above the 10 sequences, there was even a sequence 0. 0 represented nothing, but it also represented infinite possibilities. Its status was even above the sequence 1. The previous sequence 0 was Jun Xiaoyao's father, the white-robed divine, King Junwu Hui. 18th ancestor, this is a little inappropriate. It will make the other sequences unhappy. An old woman probed. Every single echelon cultivator had to go through countless trials and tribulations in order to obtain their status. Jun Xiaoyao was given the sequence 0 status as soon as he was born. What would the other sequences think? If they are unhappy, let them compete for it in the future. We'll talk about it after they win over this child, the 18th ancestor said with a flick of his sleeve. Judging from his tone, it was obvious that he was very confident in Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao sighed silently after hearing that. His grandfather had high hopes for him, and the great ancestor saw him in a different light. There were also his father's secrets and the hidden dangers of the Jun family. It seemed that he really couldn't be a salted fish. Chapter 3. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. News about Jun Xiaoyao was still circulating throughout the Jun family. Everyone knew that Jun Xiaoyao's birth had alarmed the 18th ancestor, who had personally granted him the identity of the Son of God. As for his identity as Sequence 0, Jun Jiantian had purposely kept it a secret. This was because Jun Jiantian was going to invite Jun Xiaoyao's 10-years-old banquet to all the immortal forces in the Huangtian mystic realm. He would then announce Jun Xiaoyao's identity as Sequence 0. This was to make Jun Xiaoyao famous. This would also give Jun Xiaoyao a chance to grow in peace for 10 years. However, If the other sequences of the Jun family were dissatisfied, they would have to let Jun Xiaoyao deal with it himself. Jun Xiaoyao did not mind this. He was still confident in his talent. 10 years was enough. Xiaoyao, after the 5 major realms of the physical stage comes the 5 major realms of the divine treasure stage. They are the divine treasure stage of the heart, the divine treasure stage of the liver, the divine treasure stage of the spleen, the divine treasure stage of the lungs, and the divine treasure stage of the kidney. They correspond to metal, wood, water, fire, and earth respectively. When you have completed the 5 realms of the divine treasure stage, you will be able to gather the spirit sea, divine palace, and true spirit. In a hall in the heavenly emperor palace, Jun Zhantian was explaining cultivation to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao had been consolidating his realm for the past 3 years. All kinds of sacred medicines and elixirs were placed in front of Jun Xiaoyao every day, like cabbages. The cultivation of the sacred body of the ancients consumed the most resources. However, the Jun family was a clan of the ancients, so they could afford Jun Xiaoyao's consumption of resources. After 3 years of accumulation, Jun Xiaoyao felt that he could break into the next realm at any time. Grandpa, how long does it usually take to break through the 5 realms of the divine treasure stage? Jun Xiaoyao asked. Jun Zhantian pondered and said, typical geniuses would need about 5 years. Exceptional geniuses might also need 2 or 3 years. You have the sacred body of the ancients, and your physical body is unparalleled. 1 or 2 years might be enough. 1 or 2 years. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Jun Xiaoyao calmed down and began to cultivate after being instructed on the path of cultivation. What he practiced was the Jun family supreme cultivation method, the scripture of Taishian. This Taishian scripture was enough to allow one to cultivate all the way to the supreme stage. It was one of the top cultivation methods of the Jun family. However, as long as Jun Xiaoyao wanted it, he would be able to obtain any cultivation method. Rumble. Jun Xiaoyao's body seemed to be rumbling with divine thunder. Golden qi and blood filled his body. Everything that he had accumulated over the past 3 years was unleashed at this moment. At this moment, if one were to look within himself, one would see that Jun Xiaoyao's heart was shining brightly, as if a door was about to open. This can't be. Jun Zhantian, who was standing at the side, was stunned. He had just finished explaining, and his grandson was about to break through. Even a novel wouldn't dare to write something like this. However, just as Jun Zhantian was in shock, it was as if a door in Jun Xiaoyao's heart had been blasted open. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao only felt that his physical body had been strengthened several times. Endless golden qi and blood surged, and his strength instantly soared by 10 times. Has the divine treasure of the heart been opened just like that? It doesn't seem like much. Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. He felt that it wasn't as difficult as Jun Zhantian had said. Since he had successfully broken through, Jun Xiaoyao didn't hesitate and continued to open the door to the next divine treasure. Half an hour later, boom, the divine treasure of the liver was blasted open again, and his qi and blood were shaken. Not long after, the divine treasure of the spleen was opened again. Then it was the divine treasure of the lungs. Finally, when a day was about to pass, Jun Xiaoyao's body shook. The divine treasure of the kidney was finally blasted open. The moment the 5 divine treasures in his body opened, Jun Xiaoyao felt as if he had turned into a god of war who could suppress the universe. Jun Zhantian was stunned on the spot and murmured absent-mindedly, "Damn it, it took me 2 years to break through the 5 realms of the divine treasure back then, but this grandson actually broke through in a day. Comparisons were odious." Jun Zhantian felt like he was a good-for-nothing in front of his grandson. No, he was a good-for-nothing. Other than being older and having a higher cultivation level, he couldn't compare to Jun Xiaoyao in any way. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly frowned and said, "Grandpa, I feel that something is wrong." Jun Zhantian came back to his senses and asked nervously, "What's wrong? Is there a problem?" Jun Xiaoyao was the treasure of the Jun family. If something were to happen to him, the 18th ancestor would skin him alive. Why do I feel that the power of the divine treasure of the kidney is stronger than the other four divine treasures? Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. It wasn't that his other four divine treasures weren't strong, but the divine treasure of the kidney was a little too strong. Jun Jiantian hurried forward to check and finally breathed a sigh of relief. His eyes were filled with envy. "Grandpa, is there anything wrong with me?" Jun Xiaoyao asked. "Of course there's nothing wrong. Xiaoyao, you have to give birth to more descendants of your grandpa's lineage in the future. When the 10-years-old banquet comes, I'll ask Jiang Ro to marry the pearl of the Jiang family to you," Jun Jiantian said. Well, Jun Xiaoyao was stunned for a moment before realization dawned on him. It turned out that the sacred body of the ancients also had a bonus in that aspect. However, Jun Xiaoyao wasn't a man of lust. No matter how good his kidney was, he couldn't mess around. As for the arranged marriage, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't simply fall in love with the pearl of the Jiang family. "By the way, Grandpa, do you know what the old tablet highway is?" Jun Xiaoyao changed the subject. Jun Xiaoyao had been settling down for the past 3 years and didn't check in at the checkpoints. Now that he had made another breakthrough in his cultivation, it was time to check in at the checkpoints and receive his reward. The old tablet of Taiyue was originally a stone tablet erected in the Huangtian mystic realm, used to test one's physical strength. However, it was later dug up by the Jun family and placed in the combat arena for the younger generation to test their physical strength, Jun Jiantian explained. "So that's how it is." Jun Xiaoyao was slightly speechless. The Jun family was indeed overbearing, digging up the old tablet of Taiyue and bringing it back. However, it was a good thing, as it saved Jun Xiaoyao the trouble of looking for it. "Grandpa, I'd like to try out the old tablet of Taiyue," Jun Xiaoyao said. Well, Jun Jiantian hesitated. The younger generation who went to the Jun family's combat arena were usually above 10 years old. Jun Xiaoyao was only 3 years old at the moment. Even though he had the rare, sacred body of the ancients, if he were to be tested, he might not be able to beat the older geniuses. "Don't worry, Grandpa. I'm just going to give it a try. It's okay if I fail," Jun Xiaoyao said. He just wanted to check in and receive his reward. "All right, then." Jun Jiantian nodded slightly. He was a child, after all. It was good for him to suffer some setbacks. It was to prevent him from developing an arrogant personality if he was too talented. "I'll just follow behind my grandson. I'll be able to comfort him if he fails." Jun Jiantian thought to himself, "It's been 3 years. I can finally walk out of the Heavenly Emperor Palace." Jun Xiaoyao walked out of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Although he was only 3 years old, he already looked like a boy of 5 or 6 years old due to his sacred body of the ancients. His jet black hair was sparkling and glowing, and his skin was as translucent as jade. His facial features looked as if they were carved by the heavens. He was so handsome at such a young age, like a young immortal. It was hard to imagine how handsome Jun Xiaoyao would be when he grew up. Chapter 4. The Jun family's combat arena was located on a huge island hovering in the air. Many of the younger generation of the Jun family would train in the combat arena. There were not only arenas, but there were also all kinds of places to test one's cultivation for the younger generation of the Jun family. The old tablet of Taiyue had been forcibly taken over by the mighty figures of the Jun family and moved to the combat arena for the disciples of the family to test their cultivation. At that moment, a young girl dressed in palace attire was regulating her breathing next to the old tablet of Taiyue, preparing to challenge it. The young girl was about 14 or 15 years old. She had long, wavy golden hair that flowed like waves. Her hair was translucent and dazzling. Her skin was smooth, and her lips were red, giving her a noble and elegant bearing. Although she was young, the young girl's delicate body, which was wrapped in a tight-fitting palace dress, was exquisite, and her figure was beginning to show. I wonder what kind of results Jun Linglong will be able to achieve this time. She has the heart of Linglong, which allows her to comprehend all kinds of methods very quickly. She must have mastered all kinds of body tempering methods. I heard that several sequences wanted to recruit Jun Linglong as a follower, but she turned them all down. Many of the disciples of the Jun family around looked at the young girl, named Jun Linglong, and whispered to each other, June Linglong was not one of the 10 sequences, but she was still a well-known noble lady in the June family. That was because she had the heart of Linglong in her body. That kind of heart was also known as the heart of a saint, which meant that June Linglong was destined to become a saint if she survived. Although a saint was not all that rare for a clan of the ancients like the June family. However, in the entire Huangtian mystic realm, saints were definitely big shots who stood at the very top. Because June Linglong had the potential to become a saint, some sequences were willing to extend their olive branches to her. However, they were all rejected by June Linglong. Heaven-suppressing golden palm. June Linglong lifted her snow-white hand and blasted it at the old tablet of Taiwei. Linglong's body, which looked so graceful, seemed to have burst with endless power at that moment. Boom! After a loud noise, the old tablet of Taiwei lit up. 150,000 Jin. June Linglong is so strong. Her strength has increased by another 30,000 Jin. That's right. An ordinary sky pride cultivates their physical body to the extreme, but they only have a strength of 100,000 Jin. June Linglong has already broken through that barrier. Exclamations of admiration came from all directions, and there was no lack of a group of bootlickers looking at him with blazing gazes. June Linglong's snow-white, jade-like face remained calm, without any ripples. At this moment, an ear-piercing female voice sounded. June Linglong, why has your strength only increased by 30,000 Jin after such a long time? A woman in a blue dress walked over leisurely, swaying her slender waist. Her face was charming and delicate, but her words were sharp. It's Lan Qingya, Sequence 10, a follower of June Zhangjian. She has a higher status than the followers. I heard that June Zhangjian is very fond of her. Lan Qingya was not a member of the June family. She was a follower recruited from outside by June Zhangjian, Sequence 10. June Linglong ignored her, but Lan Qingya said sharply, young Master Zhangjian left a record of 5 million Jin of strength on the old tablet of Taiwei, which is dozens of times more than yours. Yet, you rejected his recruitment. Do you know how ignorant you are now? Lan Qingya could not stand June Linglong's pretentious aloofness. June Zhangjian had taken the initiative to recruit her, but June Linglong still rejected him. In Lan Qingya's opinion, June Linglong was just a pretentious bitch. June Zhangjian is not bad, but he's not the best. The person I, June Linglong, follow will be someone who can suppress an era, June Linglong said plainly. No one knew that Linglong's heart of 7 orifices had a hidden ability, which was that she could vaguely see a corner of the future. Of course, this ability was very heaven-defying, and she could not use it on her own. June Linglong had only triggered it once in her life. In that corner of the future, June Linglong saw a blurry, transcendent figure dressed in white, with his back facing everyone. Billions of living beings and thousands of ancient races all bowed down behind him, chanting the name of Heavenly Emperor June. At that time, June Linglong was certain that a true dragon would emerge from the June family in this life, who would suppress time and space for eternity. However, in that corner of the future, which prodigy sequence of the June family was the Heavenly Emperor June, who was worshipped by all. Because of this doubt, June Linglong did not follow anyone. She had been waiting for the person who resembled Heavenly Emperor June the most to appear. June Zhangjian was Sequence 10. Although he was very strong, he did not give off the same feeling as June Linglong. However, when Lan Qingya heard June Linglong's words, she found it very funny. Haha, suppressing an era? June Linglong, your excuse is a bit ridiculous. Even the current strongest Sequence 10 of the June family would not dare to say this sentence 100%. This was because this was a world of great competition. Thousands of races rose, and geniuses came out in large numbers. No one dared to say that they could suppress this era. At this moment, in the distant sky, a white crane attracted everyone's attention. On the white crane, a young deity-like figure sat cross-legged. It was June Xiaoyao. He had only broken through to the 5th stage of the Divine Treasure Realm and had not yet obtained the ability to fly, so he could only come on the white crane. Who is that figure? He looks so young. Is he coming to the arena at such a young age? A group of June family members discussed. Jun Xiaoyao had been staying in the Heavenly Emperor Palace since he was born and had never walked around the Jun family. Therefore, other than the 18th ancestor, a group of elders, and his birth mother Jiang Ro, no one else had seen Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Linglong's beautiful eyes fell on the young figure. Linglong's heart suddenly trembled inside her body. Her heart throbbed. No way. Jun Linglong's beautiful eyes gradually widened, and a kind of intuition came to her mind. The white crane fell, and Jun Xiaoyao tipped his toes and landed on the ground easily. What a handsome boy. I want to pinch his face, a girl of the Jun family said with her beautiful eyes shining. So cute. I want to ride him. Another girl of the Jun family with a voluptuous body stared at Jun Xiaoyao with her beautiful eyes and a silly smile on her face. Jun Xiaoyao felt a little nervous being stared at by such a group of girls of the Jun family like wolves. His kidneys were indeed strong, but he was still a 3-year-old child after all. He did not want to be a little horse. This child's chi and blood are too strong. Why do I feel that he is stronger than us? A young man of the Jun family could not help but ask, "Child, which branch of the Jun family are you from? Why have we never seen you before?" Jun Xiaoyao said casually, "Of course you haven't seen me before. This is the first time I came out of the Heavenly Emperor Palace." The first time you came out of the Heavenly Emperor Palace, the young man of the Jun family suddenly trembled as he spoke. The Heavenly Emperor Palace was a place where a group of people with the highest status in the Jun family were qualified to live. The young man looked at Jun Xiaoyao in shock and said, "You are from 3 years ago." "Yes, I am Jun Xiaoyao," Jun Xiaoyao said lazily. Wow. As soon as the words fell, the entire arena was in an uproar. Jun Xiaoyao could be said to be the most mysterious of the younger generation of the Jun family, and his status was also the highest. His birth 3 years ago had alarmed the 18th ancestor, who had personally bestowed him the status of Son of God. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao's current status was not inferior to the 10 sequences. "Greetings, Lord Son of God." In the arena, all the members of the Jun family bowed in unison. Jun Linglong had a strange look in her eyes, but she still bowed to Jun Xiaoyao. Lan Qingyao's expression also changed. She was a retainer with a different surname, and she did not dare to offend Jun Xiaoyao, so she hurriedly bowed. Jun Xiaoyao secretly clicked his tongue and thought to himself as he looked at the members of the Jun family who bowed to him respectfully. That's not right. According to the routine, shouldn't someone come out to question me and then get slapped in the face? How am I supposed to show off when they are so obedient? Jun Xiaoyao felt like he was punching cotton and could not exert any strength. He wanted to find someone to show off, no, to spar with. However, Jun Xiaoyao still underestimated the status of the Son of God. There was probably no one present who dared to disrespect him. Forget it. Since no one is provoking me, I'll just check in quickly. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly and walked up to the old tablet of Taiwei. At that moment, the mechanical voice of the system was heard in his mind. "Ding, you have arrived at the old tablet of Taiwei. Would you like to check in?" Chapter 5. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 6-star reward, the Divine Elephant Overpowering Force. As soon as the system finished speaking, a series of mystical mantras of the method flowed into Jun Xiaoyao's mind like a torrent. The Divine Elephant Overpowering Force used energy to attract the gods, and the gods to form the elephants. Every move was made with the power of the Divine Elephant. Every single particle was comparable to a divine elephant. Awakening 100,000 particles meant that the power of 100,000 divine elephants would be added to the body. A single punch could split mountains and seas, shatter stars, and overturn the sun and moon. All it took was a single thought, the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant. What a powerful cultivation method. Even in the Jun family, body refinement methods like this are rare, Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. He had read many top-notch methods of body refinement in the Jun family, but methods like the divine elephant overpowering force were still very rare. I thought that the 6-star reward would be far inferior to the 8-star reward. Now, it seems that it's not bad at all, Jun Xiaoyao lamented. Furthermore, Jun Xiaoyao also understood that the system's rewards were ranked from 1 star to 10 stars, from the lowest to the highest. 1-star rewards were the most common, while 10-star rewards were the best. A 6-star reward was already considered to be very good. The divine elephant overpowering force is a perfect match for my unparalleled sacred body of the ancients. Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged on the ground right away and began to comprehend. His original intention was to check in at the old tablet of Taiwei, not to test his physical strength. The 100,000 particles in the human body are first turned into giant elephants. When all of them are awakened, the giant elephants will become dragon elephants will become primitive elephants, and primitive elephants will become divine elephants. Jun Xiaoyao was immersed in his comprehension. The disciples of the Jun family around the old tablet of Taiwei were all confused. What's going on? I thought Lord Son of God came to the old tablet of Taiwei to test his physical strength. Yeah, why is he sitting on the ground? In the eyes of the disciples of the Jun family, Jun Xiaoyao's actions were a great reward for bewildering human beings. Naturally, they had no idea that Jun Xiaoyao was comprehending the divine elephant overpowering force. This throbbing feeling, could he really be? Jun Linglong's beautiful eyes stared at Jun Xiaoyao's back, who was sitting cross-legged. He was only a 3-year-old child, yet he was like a young god, giving off an unfathomable feeling. I can't be sure yet, but it's not impossible, Jun Linglong thought. When Jun Xiaoyao was born, the reverence of the 10,000 saints shocked the entire Huangtian mystic realm. Many of the disciples of the Jun family present were guessing what kind of physique Jun Xiaoyao had, while Jun Zhantian and the others did not deliberately hide the fact that Jun Xiaoyao had the sacred body of the ancients. They did not deliberately spread the news either. As such, most people in the Jun family had no idea what his physique was like. So, this is the divine child that everyone is talking about. He doesn't seem to have 3 heads and 6 arms, and he looks so young. Is he going to challenge the old tablet of Taiwei? Lan Qingya was also sizing up Jun Xiaoyao. She did not have much respect in her eyes, as she was the sequence 10 of the Jun family. Many a time, even some of the geniuses of the Jun family were reluctant to mess with Lan Qingya for fear of offending Jun Zhangjian, who was her backer. Mr. Zhangjian set a record of 2.5 million pounds at the old tablet of Taiwei. Even the entire Huangtian mystic realm, he is at the top. Given this son of God's current level and age, he should be able to reach 100,000 pounds at most, Lan Qingya thought to herself. Being favored by Jun Zhangjian was the luckiest thing that had ever happened to her. In her eyes, no one could compare to Jun Zhangjian. That included Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was fully immersed in his comprehension at the moment. He vaguely sensed the 100,000 particles in his body. They were like 100,000 embryos, each of which contained an unawakened giant elephant. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao mobilized the golden power of qi and blood of the sacred body of the ancients. The sacred body of the ancients could be said to be the most suitable physique for tempering one's body. Cultivating the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant would naturally yield twice the results with half the effort. Rumble. Soon, Jun Xiaoyao felt one of the particles in his body break open. It was as if a giant elephant had awakened, howling at the sky and bringing down the stars. A surge of divine power burst out from Jun Xiaoyao's body as the particle of the giant elephant awakened. 10,000 pounds of strength. Jun Xiaoyao was shocked. A giant elephant represented 10,000 pounds of strength. If Jun Xiaoyao were to convert the 100,000 particles in his body into the strength of 100,000 elephants, it would be 1 billion pounds of strength. Jun Zhangjian, on the other hand, only possessed a strength of 2.5 million caddies. 1 billion against 5 million. The difference was simply incomparable. Now that I've awakened a particle, things will be much easier from here on out. I like to see how many particles of the giant elephant, the sacred body of the ancients, can awaken in one go. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He continued to cultivate. Golden qi and blood rose into the air. It was as if a golden divine elephant had been formed behind him. What a powerful qi and blood. What kind of technique is that? Why have I never seen it before? The fluctuations of Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation swept across the entire combat arena. Countless members of the Jun family stared at the scene in front of them in a daze. The golden divine elephant suppressed the universe. Its trunk seemed to be able to grab the moon in the sky. Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged in front of the divine elephant like a young god of war. Rumble. Boom. 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 The sound of beans exploding could be heard from inside Jun Xiaoyao's body. It was the sound of particles of the giant elephant awakening one after another. Finally, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly opened his eyes. His qi and blood surged to the 9 levels of heaven. His level had broken through again at that moment. He had reached a new level from the completion of the 5 stages of the divine treasure realm. The Sea of Spirit realm. A golden sea of spirit opened up inside Jun Xiaoyao's body. It was vast and turbulent, turning the world upside down. I've awakened 1,000 particles of the giant elephant and broken through to the Sea of Spirit realm. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with disdain. His aura was extremely powerful. After the 5 stages of the physical body and the 5 stages of the divine treasure realm, there were 3 major stages. The 9 levels of the Sea of Spirit realm, the 9 levels of the divinity realm, and the 9 levels of the true spirit realm. They were also known as the Spirit Gathering Sea, the divinity realm, and the true spirit realm. There were only a handful of people who had broken through to the Sea of Spirit realm at the age of 3. Am I seeing things? Has Lord Son of God broken through to the Sea of Spirit realm? A member of the Jun family widened his eyes. His jaw was about to hit the ground. A 3-year-old Sea of Spirit realm expert. Hiss! A group of members of the Jun family gasped and began to doubt their lives. They were not the only ones. Even Jun Zhantian, who was hidden in the void, had a look of shock on his old face. He was originally there to look after Jun Xiaoyao, fearing that Jun Xiaoyao's failure would hurt his Dao heart. Now, however, Jun Zhantian felt that his own Dao heart had taken a hit. My grandson is a freak. But where did he get that skill from? It sure is something, Jun Zhantian mumbled. He was a saint, after all. He could tell at a glance how extraordinary the divine elephant overpowering force was. I've awakened 1,000 particles of the giant elephant. Well, I guess I should give it a try. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the old tablet of Taiyue in front of him, eager to give it a try. 1,000 particles of the giant elephant represented a force of 5 million caddies. That was double the record set by Sequence 10, Jun Zhanjian. If nothing unexpected happened, Jun Zhanjian would not be able to keep his record. Jun Xiaoyao clenched his fist with one hand. Surging divine power surged within his body. Son of God is going to challenge the old tablet of Taiyue. Will he be able to break Jun Zhanjian's record? The eyes of countless members of the Jun family gathered at the combat arena at that moment. Chapter 6. Jun Zhanjian's record of 5 million caddies remained on the old tablet of Taiyue for a long time. It was not to say that he was the strongest among the younger generation of the Jun family. Many of the other sequences were either cultivating or training in seclusion outside. They had no time to test their physical strength on the old tablet of Taiyue. At that moment, all eyes were on Jun Xiaoyao when they saw that he was about to make a move. After all, Jun Xiaoyao was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was named the Son of God the moment he was born. His every move attracted the attention of everyone. If Jun Xiaoyao's performance was subpar, no one would dare to mock him openly. However, they would still have some complaints in their minds. Jun Zhantian, who was hiding in the air, was also nervous, which was rare. Whether or not he could establish his authority in the Jun family for the first time would depend on Jun Xiaoyao's performance. Jun Xiaoyao did not think too much about it. He simply wanted to test his strength after making a breakthrough. He clenched his fist. It was a simple move without any fancy moves. Jun Xiaoyao felt as if there were 1,000 elephants running inside his body. Terrifying power was transmitted from his muscles to his fist. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao threw a punch at the old tablet of Taiwei, and the golden divine elephant shadow behind him seemed to have lashed out as well. In an instant, the entire tablet rumbled and shook violently. A glaring number appeared on the old tablet of Taiwei. 5 million caddies. Hiss! All of the disciples of the Jun family were shocked. They rubbed their eyes hard, unable to believe what they were seeing. A 3-year-old boy with a strength of 5 million caddies. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. Lan Qingya's eyes widened. Her petite body shuddered. She was deeply shocked. Although she did not want to admit it, the old tablet of Taiwei had never made a mistake. Jun Linglong's eyes were also shocked. She was even more certain of her conjecture. Even Jun Zhantian, who was hiding in the dark, was stunned. He looked rather comical. However, that was not the end of it. Cracks spread in all directions like a spider web, with Jun Xiaoyao's fist as the center. Jun Xiaoyao himself was also stunned. He swore that he did not deliberately destroy public property. Crack! The old tablet of Taiwei shattered inch by inch under everyone's dumbfounded gazes. In the end, it crumbled into countless pieces. At the same time, a voice that seemed to come from ancient times resounded throughout the entire Jun residence. Create another extreme realm of eternity. Reward from the heavenly Tao. This voice came from the void. It was incomparably majestic, as if a great emperor was muttering in a low voice. However, the words that came out of his mouth left Shi Fang aghast. Extreme realm of eternity. What did this mean? This meant that in the countless eras since the ancient times, no one at Jun Xiaoyao's age had a stronger physical body than him. Even the ancient emperors and supreme ancient emperors were no match for Jun Xiaoyao when they were 3 years old. This was definitely a terrifying record. In comparison, Jun Zhanjian's record of 5 million caddies seems so shabby. Lord Son of God has broken through the extreme realm of eternity. Jun Linglong's beautiful eyes were extremely bright, flashing with extraordinary splendor. If she had only guessed before, then she was now 50% sure of it. Jun Xiaoyao was probably the invincible being in that corner of the future, who turned his back on all living beings. Lan Qingya's face was pale. This record was so terrifying that she could not even imagine it. When she recalled that she had guessed that Jun Xiaoyao only had a strength of 100,000 caddies, Lan Qingya felt a little embarrassed and her face turned red. Haha, grandson, you're awesome. Jun Zhantian could not help but appear from the void. His face was flushed and he could not stop smiling. The corner of Jun Xiaoyao's mouth twitched. Why did it sound like he was scolding someone? When the other disciples of the Jun family saw Jun Zhantian appear, they all bowed and said, "Greetings, elder." Grandpa, the old tablet of Taiwei is broken. Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. It's fine. It's fine if it's broken. You've brought another big surprise to the Jun family. Jun Zhantian could not contain his joy. Compared to Jun Xiaoyao's record, the old tablet of Taiwei breaking was nothing. At that moment, a ball of chaotic light emerged from the void and fell into Jun Xiaoyao's hand. This was the reward for breaking through the extreme realm of eternity. Jun Xiaoyao took a closer look and found that it was a jade scroll. When he probed it with his divine consciousness, Jun Xiaoyao was surprised to find that the jade scroll recorded a supreme soul cultivation method. The visualization of chaotic divinity. Interesting. Is this to make my body and spirit invincible? Jun Xiaoyao snickered. His body had already broken through the extreme realm, which was unparalleled since ancient times. Coupled with this supreme soul cultivation method, when his body and spirit reached perfection, who could beat him? Jun Xiaoyao thought about it and put away the jade scroll, deciding to study in detail in the future. At that moment, a beam of light came from afar. It was an elder of high status in the Jun family, who shouted loudly. The 18th ancestor has sensed that the extreme realm of eternity has been broken. He will reward Jun Xiaoyao, son of God, with 3 immortal divine herbs. The elder's words caused an uproar again. The disciples of the Jun family were extremely jealous. Immortal divine herbs were extremely precious. Generally speaking, even the first-rate forces in the mystic realm would only have 1 or 2 immortal divine herbs. Although the Jun family was a clan of the ancients with a rich heritage, they did not have many immortal divine herbs. To be rewarded with 3 immortal divine herbs at once was something that had never happened in the Jun family before. However, when they thought about how Jun Xiaoyao broke the extreme realm of eternity's record, this reward seemed to be reasonable. Lan Qingya was shocked to the point that she was a little numb. She still remembered that Jun Zhangjian was lucky enough to get an immortal divine herb. He was so lucky that he treated it like an ancestor and was reluctant to use it. However, Jun Xiaoyao got 3 immortal divine herbs at once. The contrast was too great. "Tell them that I thank the 18th ancestor for the reward," Jun Xiaoyao said calmly, neither arrogant nor impatient. He was also preparing to go back to the Heavenly Emperor Palace to isolate himself and digest the results. Jun Linglong hesitated for a moment. She bit her lips and stepped out. She said nervously, "Son of God, please wait." Jun Xiaoyao turned his head and saw Jun Linglong. She was wearing a palace dress that wrapped around Linglong's figure. Her golden curly hair was sparkling and dazzling. It made her flawless face look even more delicate. Her temperament was unparalleled. "You are?" Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. "I am Jun Linglong." "Greetings, Xiaoyao, son of God," Jun Linglong said, slightly uneasy. She had always been calm and composed, with a delicate and elegant temperament. However, when facing Jun Xiaoyao at this moment, Jun Linglong felt that she was ordinary to the bone. She couldn't summon up the slightest bit of arrogance. "What's the matter?" Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. The blonde girl was indeed pleasing to the eye, but Jun Xiaoyao wasn't the type who couldn't walk away when he saw a woman. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao's attitude was quite calm. Jun Linglong felt a little nervous, which was rare for her. She bowed to Jun Xiaoyao and said, "Linglong hopes to become a follower of the Son of God." As soon as she finished speaking, the entire arena fell into a dead silence. Many of the male disciples of the Jun family were pale and heartbroken. In their eyes, Linglong was high and mighty. They could only look at her from afar and not touch her. However, at this moment, she bowed down and offered to become a follower of someone else. Chapter 7. You want to follow me? Jun Xiaoyao was slightly surprised. He really didn't expect Jun Linglong to have such thoughts. It was very common to become a follower. Each of the 10 sequences of the Jun family had a group of followers with extraordinary strength behind them. Either they were disciples of the Jun family, or they were talents recruited from the outside. In short, every peerless figure would cultivate followers who would become an important force in the future. Even his father, Jun Wuhui, once had a group of followers. They were known as the 8 Divine Kings. Every single one of them could take charge of an area on their own and could be considered a peerless hero. It wasn't that Jun Xiaoyao didn't consider it, but he was only 3 years old and wasn't in a hurry to recruit followers, so he didn't care. Why? Jun Xiaoyao was curious. Was it because he broke through the extreme realm of eternity? "It's a kind of intuition," Jun Linglong said with a deep look in her beautiful eyes. It was not convenient for her to talk about that corner of the future, because it was very likely that she would have to bear some kind of huge karma. Jun Linglong couldn't bear that kind of consequence. Intuition. Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. He also sensed that Jun Linglong might know something, but she didn't say it out loud. However, he did hear about Jun Linglong from time to time. Linglong was born with 7 orifices. She was quick-witted and intelligent, and she was a step ahead of others in comprehending any martial arts. If she didn't die, she was destined to become a saint in the future. This kind of proud daughter would be the center of attention wherever she went, and she was qualified to follow Jun Xiaoyao. "Grandfather takes care of my daily life every day. Besides preaching to me, he also nags me to grow up and have children for the Jun family." Jun Xiaoyao felt helpless. Although he was only 3 years old on the outside, He was already mature on the inside. Facing an old man all day long, even if it was his own grandfather, was very boring. It's not bad to let Jun Linglong be a maid to take care of my daily life, Jun Xiaoyao thought. He didn't think of grooming Jun Linglong or anything like that. However, he could accept her as a maid. If outsiders knew what Jun Xiaoyao was thinking, they would definitely want to hammer him to death. He actually wanted to make the heaven's chosen daughter, who was the center of attention and was the center of attention, be his maid. One must know that even a prodigy like Jun Zhangjian only wanted to rope Jun Linglong in as a fellow cultivator. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to speak, a woman's voice rang out. Jun Linglong, you actually took the initiative to follow someone else? The person who asked was Lan Qingya. She did not dare to offend Jun Xiaoyao, so she could only direct her words at Jun Linglong. What's wrong? Jun Linglong asked indifferently. When facing Jun Xiaoyao, she would feel uneasy and nervous. However, when facing Lan Qingya, she was not reserved at all. Young Master Zhangjian once personally asked to recruit you, but you rejected him. Now, you're taking the initiative to follow someone else. Where is young Master Zhangjian's face now? Lan Qingya said with an ugly expression. Wasn't Jun Linglong's action a blatant slap to Jun Zhangjian's face? Jun Zhangjian is very outstanding, but the person I, Jun Linglong, follow will be an existence that suppresses an era. Jun Linglong's tone carried a hint of fanaticism. Suppresses an era? Are you referring to him? Lan Qingya blurted out without thinking. Where did this impudent thing come from? Before Jun Xiaoyao could say anything, Jun Zhangtian raised his eyebrows and flung his sleeve. Splat! Lan Qingya's delicate body was sent flying and landed heavily on the ground. Blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. This was because Jun Zhangtian was too proud to kill Lan Qingya. If there's a chance in the future, I'd like to spar with Brother Zhangjian. As for you, Scram, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. He could not be bothered to deal with such a small character. Lan Qingya's face turned pale. She looked at Jun Linglong with a hint of unwillingness in her eyes, then turned and left. Jun Linglong did not mind. Instead, she fixed her gaze on Jun Xiaoyao. Her beautiful eyes revealed a hint of pity. If it were any other man, they would have agreed to it a long time ago. Jun Xiaoyao pondered for a moment before asking, Do you know how to serve tea and water? As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. Jun Linglong was also stunned. However, she nodded subconsciously. Although she had never done this kind of work before, it did not mean that she did not know how to do it. Do you know how to wash clothes and fold blankets? Jun Xiaoyao asked again. Jun Linglong nodded with a confused look on her face. All right, then I agree. Jun Xiaoyao was very straightforward. By then, Jun Linglong and the people around her realized what was going on. It turned out that Jun Xiaoyao was not choosing a follower. Instead, he was choosing a maidservant. For a moment, all of the male prodigies present were envious and jealous. Having Jun Linglong as a maidservant was not something that just anyone could do. Jun Linglong herself was also dazed for a moment. She was a prodigy of the heavens. Had she really become a maidservant? However, Jun Linglong's beautiful eyes became resolute when she thought of that future. She opened her mouth and asked, Son of God, since you've asked so many questions, can Linglong also ask a question? What question? Jun Xiaoyao asked. If Son of God becomes the celestial of the arch in the future, what should you do? Jun Linglong fixed her gaze on Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao was slightly taken aback. Then he smiled faintly and shook his head. It's very simple. As the celestial of the arch, I shall kill all enemies in the world. Jun Xiaoyao's words fell. Suddenly, thunder exploded in the sky, and the clouds in the sky shook. His words caused heaven and earth to change color. Everyone was aghast. They had never seen such a scene before. Jun Zhangtian also took a deep breath. There was an extremely complicated look in his eyes. Wu Huwei, your son is indeed as heroic as you were back then. Jun Zhangtian knew that this sentence represented a huge karma that fell on Jun Xiaoyao. Just as Jun Xiaoyao said those words, Yi Futian's expression changed. In a forbidden zone of life in the mystic region, an extremely ancient and hoarse voice was heard. This generation of the June family is quite ambitious. Haha. Elsewhere, a cold and mocking voice was heard from an ancient spiritual mountain where divine phoenixes and real phoenixes were flying in circles. Kill all enemies in the world, ha! Are the descendants of June Wuhui so arrogant? A cold voice was also heard from an ancient nest where the dragon veins gathered. In this world, the path to the emperor will appear. The descendants of my family, Long Outyin, will let the June family and the other clan of the ancients understand what it means to bleed geniuses and bleed desolately. Jun Xiaoyao probably didn't expect that his casual words would cause such a commotion. When he came back to his senses, he found that Jun Linglong's eyes were extremely bright as she stared at him. What's wrong? Jun Xiaoyao touched his face. Linglong is willing to follow Lord Son of God. Jun Linglong made up her mind and no longer wavered. Jun Linglong was able to understand a lot for what he said. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. This time's harvest was quite satisfactory. He received the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant, broke through the extreme realm of eternity, and received the heavenly path's reward, the meditative method of chaotic divinity. He also received 3 immortal divine herbs from the 18th ancestor. Chapter 8. After that, Jun Xiaoyao took Jun Linglong and Jun Zhantian back to the Heavenly Emperor Palace. As for the other members of the Jun family in the arena, they watched them leave with envy and awe. If Jun Xiaoyao had performed poorly, they would have naturally criticized him. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's performance had completely won them over. Even Jun Linglong was willing to be Jun Xiaoyao's maidservant. Do you think Jun Zhanjian will get back at him? A young man from the Jun family asked with interest. I don't think so. As long as Jun Zhanjian is not stupid, he will not provoke the Son of God. The others shook their heads. Everyone knew that Jun Xiaoyao was highly valued by the 18th ancestor. He had a bright future and was destined to be the backbone of the Jun family. If Jun Zhanjian offended Jun Xiaoyao just because of Lan Qingya, he would definitely be out of his mind. As for Jun Xiaoyao himself, he did not care about Jun Zhanjian at all. If he had come to get back at Lan Qingya, Jun Xiaoyao would have been more than happy to fight him. Is this the Heavenly Emperor Palace? Jun Linglong looked at the magnificent palace in front of her with a hint of excitement. Although her status was high, she was not qualified to enter the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Be casual. Don't be so formal. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. Thank you, Lord Son of God. Jun Linglong bowed to Jun Xiaoyao and smiled sweetly. If it were anyone else, it would be difficult for Jun Linglong to even look at them, but I can easily take her as my maidservant. Is this power and status? Jun Xiaoyao was secretly speechless. Reincarnation was indeed a skill. By the way, Grandpa, Linglong will be taking care of my daily needs in the future. You don't have to come here every day, Jun Xiaoyao said as he turned around. Hey, you little brat. Jun Zhantian fumed and glared at him. Now that you have a beautiful maid, you're turning around and abandoning your grandfather? However, he could not persuade Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Zhantian compromised in the end, but he would still come if there was a need to preach the Tao. Over the next few days, Jun Xiaoyao spent his time gaining enlightenment of the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth. The strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth wasn't just a cultivation of immense strength. It was also a manifestation of all sorts of martial techniques. For example, it could evolve into a supreme offensive technique, the infernal deity spear. After all, primeval god mammoths could suppress the boundless hells, absorb the spirit energy of hell, and transform it into a spear that could pierce through anything. It could also evolve the strongest defensive technique, the underworld god protection, which was indestructible and indestructible. He could even condense demon wings, and with a flap of his wings, he could travel through the void at top speed. As Jun Xiaoyao's comprehension deepened, more and more abilities would be unlocked in the future. In the end, he could even evolve into a true primeval god mammoth, summon the gates of hell, and summon countless demons to fight for Jun Xiaoyao. This strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth is really useful, Jun Xiaoyao praised. Although the Jun family had many supreme body-tempering techniques, they were not as comprehensive as the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth in terms of functionality. I really hope that I'll have a chance to check in again. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't wait to check in again. Ding! At that moment, the system's voice sounded in Jun Xiaoyao's mind again. Congratulations, host. The new check-in location has been refreshed. Please check in at the 10 years old banquet. When Jun Xiaoyao heard the voice, he was slightly stunned. 10 years old banquet? Is it my 10 years old banquet? He had heard from Jun Zhanqian that when he turned 10, the Jun family would hold a grand 10 years old banquet for him. At that time, many forces in the Huangtian mystic realm, including the clan of the ancients and the supreme clans, would be invited to the banquet. Even Jun Xiaoyao's identity as Sequence Zero would be announced at the 10 years old banquet. This banquet would be Jun Xiaoyao's first appearance in the world. It seems that the check-in location and time are random. There is no pattern, Jun Xiaoyao pondered. However, this was not a big deal. The strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth and the meditative method of chaotic divinity were enough for Jun Xiaoyao to cultivate. I'm looking forward to the 10 years old banquet. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. By the way, why hasn't Jun Zhanjian made a move yet? Did he really give up? Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself, feeling a little disappointed. At the same time, in the Jun family, on a spiritual island floating in the void, the 10 sequences of the Jun family were treated differently from ordinary geniuses. Each of them had their own independent mansion. They were either heavenly palaces, divine islands, or blessed grotto heavens. This spiritual island was the mansion of the 10th sequence of the Jun family, Jun Zhanjian. On the spiritual island, there was a mountain peak that looked like a long sword piercing into the sky, exuding a sword aura that was like the might of the heavens. At the foot of the mountain peak, Lan Qingya, dressed in a blue dress, had been waiting there for a few days. Young Master Zhanjian hasn't come out of seclusion yet. Lan Qingya looked anxious, wronged, and unwilling. The more Lan Qingya thought about what happened in the arena, the more sullen and angry Lan Qingya felt. However, she did not dare to cause trouble for Jun Xiaoyao and Jun Linglong. She could only rely on Jun Zhanjian. In the past, whenever someone offended Lan Qingya, all they had to do was look for Jun Zhanjian. In the end, it would be the other party who would apologize. It was because of this that Lan Qingya developed such an arrogant personality. Boom! At that moment, a huge wave of energy suddenly came from the top of the mountain. A terrifying storm of magic power swept across the sky, forming a tornado. It's young Master Zhanjian. He has broken through again. On the spiritual island, some of Jun Zhanjian's followers were alarmed. They all looked at the mountain peak. Lan Qingya's wronged expression was swept away, and she looked very excited. Jun Zhanjian had broken through, and his strength had increased again. He could definitely help her vent her anger. Even if he did not teach Jun Xiaoyao a lesson, he could at least teach Jun Linglong a lesson. On the mountain peak, a young man in a black robe with a sword on his back stepped down from the void. Generally speaking, after the sea of spirit realm and reaching the divinity realm, one would be able to walk on air. It was obvious that this black-robed young man was already a divinity realm master. He was about 13 or 14 years old. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his black eyes were deep. His temperament was like a divine sword that could cut through the heavens. It was intimidating. This black-robed young man was the sequence 10 of the Jun family, Jun Zhanjian. It was rumored that on the day of his birth, all the swordsmen in the Jun family unsheathed their swords on their own and pointed at Jun Zhanjian's birthplace. He was born with the heart of the sword and the indestructible sword body, which allowed him to contain endless sword aura within his body. He also had a talent for swordsmanship and martial arts. It was because of these talents that Jun Zhanjian rose to prominence and became one of the Sequence 10. Although he was ranked at the bottom of the Sequence 10, he was still not to be underestimated. There were tens of thousands of young geniuses in the Jun family, and it was extremely difficult to become one of the Sequence 10. Not everyone was like Jun Xiaoyao, who was born high and had an extraordinary status. Qingya, have you been waiting for me? Jun Zhanjian landed. The followers around him bowed and cupped their hands. Jun Zhanjian ignored them and looked at Lan Qingya. Young Master Zhanjian. Lan Qingya squeezed out a few tears. She looked upset and threw herself into Jun Zhanjian's arms. That be asterisk TCH. The other followers cursed in their hearts and looked at her with disdain. As Jun Zhanjian's followers, they could not stand Lan Qingya's behavior. She even said that Jun Linglong was a green tea B asterisk TCH. She was the real green tea B asterisk TCH. What's wrong? Who made you unhappy this time? Jun Zhanjian smiled faintly. He was indeed very fond of Lan Qingya. His attitude toward her was different from the other followers. This is what happened. Lan Qingya told him everything. Then, she said with tears in her eyes, "Young Master Zhanjian, I did it for your sake. Who would have thought that Jun Xiaoyao and Jun Linglong?" "You said you offended Jun Xiaoyao?" Jun Zhanjian's black hair covered his eyes, making it difficult for others to see his expression. "Yes, young Master Zhanjian, you must seek justice for me," Lan Qingya said, feeling wronged. Slap. However, what greeted her was a resounding slap. Chapter 9. Lan Qingya was stupefied, completely stupefied. She covered her burning cheek and looked at Jun Zhanjian in disbelief. Jun Zhanjian's face was extremely gloomy, and his eyes were surging with coldness. "Young Master Zhanjian, you hit me?" Lan Qingya asked in disbelief. Feeling her gradually swelling cheek, Lan Qingya felt like she was dreaming. Hadn't Jun Zhanjian always been obedient to her? It even made Lan Qingya feel that the Jun family sequence was nothing more than this. Lan Qingya even fantasized that she could completely control Jun Zhanjian in the future, and that he would do whatever she said. Which retainer with a different surname could control the Jun family sequence? She, Lan Qingya, could. But now, looking at Jun Zhanjian's gloomy face, Lan Qingya felt like he had become a stranger. "Who told you to provoke Jun Xiaoyao?" Jun Zhanjian's tone was suppressing his anger. I did it all for your sake, young Master Zhanjian. You tried to recruit Jun Linglong before, but she ignored you. In the end, she was willing to follow that Jun Xiaoyao. Lan Qingya was still trying to explain herself. "You be asterisk TCH." Hearing this, Jun Zhanjian couldn't help but slap the other half of Lan Qingya's face. Lan Qingya was sent flying. The corner of her mouth was broken, and blood kept flowing out. "Do you know Jun Xiaoyao's identity? Do you know who his father is?" Jun Zhanjian was so angry that his liver hurt. Did this Lan Qingya think that his position in the sequence was too stable and wanted to shake it? Isn't it that Jun Wuhuwei? His whereabouts are unknown. Lan Qingya gritted her teeth, her expression ugly. "You don't have the right to insult Uncle Wuhuwei." All the followers around him were dumbfounded. Did the sun rise from the west? Jun Xiaoyao is the son of Uncle Wuhuwei, and his mother is also the goddess of the Jiang family. He is also valued by the 18th ancestor. Do you want me to lose my position as Sequence 10 by provoking him? Jun Zhanjian really wanted to slap Lan Qingya to death. Of all the people he could have provoked, he just had to provoke Jun Xiaoyao, the man with the highest status and background in the Jun family. "Young Master Zhanjian, I was wrong. Please spare me." Lan Qingya knelt down and kowtowed. His chin was covered in blood. She had never thought that Jun Zhanjian would be so afraid of Jun Xiaoyao that he would even lay his hands on her. "Get up and apologize to Jun Xiaoyao," Jun Zhanjian said coldly. "Young Master Zhanjian, this." Lan Qingya felt as if she had been struck by lightning. If that was really the case, how could she continue to stay in the Jun family? Moreover, she had to bow her head and apologize in front of Jun Linglong. It was worse than eating feces. You're not going?" Jun Zhanjian's gaze was as sharp as a sword. "I'll go." Lan Qingya was terrified and humiliated. Then, a follower found a bundle of thorns and asked Lan Qingya to carry it on her back. The sharp thorns on the thorns cut into her jade back, causing Lan Qingya to hiss in pain. "Forget it. I'll go with you. That'll show my sincerity." Jun Zhanjian hesitated for a moment, then decided to go with her. Lan Qingya felt even more hopeless. It was the first time she had seen Jun Zhanjian so uneasy. Who exactly was Jun Xiaoyao that could make Jun Zhangjian so afraid? Jun Zhangjian left the Spirit Island with Lan Qingya, who was apologizing and headed for the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Along the way, many disciples of the Jun family noticed it. That's Jun Zhangjian, the Sequence 10. Has he come out of seclusion? Jun Zhangjian's strength has improved again, and he's heading for the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Is he going to cause trouble for the Son of God? No. Look at Lan Qingya. Many people's eyes fell on Lan Qingya. She was apologizing and apologizing. Her jade back was covered in blood. Her cheeks were red and swollen, and the corners of her mouth were bleeding. She looked as pathetic as could be. Could it be that Jun Zhangjian is not going to get back at him, but to apologize? All of the disciples of the Jun family were stunned. Did the Sequence 10 of the Jun family just admit defeat? Tisk TSK. I'm afraid only Lord Son of God is qualified to make a Sequence 10 surrender without a fight, a young man of the Jun family exclaimed. Which of the Sequence 10 wasn't full of arrogance? It was too difficult to make someone surrender without a fight. However, Jun Xiaoyao was able to do it. In the Heavenly Emperor Palace, Jun Xiaoyao was relaxing. Jun Linglong was making tea for Jun Xiaoyao. The tea was made with the 10,000-year dew condensation and the tea leaves picked from the tree of enlightenment. Some ordinary geniuses would never be able to enjoy this pot of tea in the outside world. However, Jun Xiaoyao drank it every day. Sir, please. Jun Linglong served the tea, looking like a dutiful maid. Jun Xiaoyao took the teacup, took a sip, and nodded. You're doing well. Jun Linglong blushed. Was he talking about making tea? At that moment, a servant of the Heavenly Emperor Palace shouted respectfully at the door, Lord Son of God, young Master Jun Zhangjian has arrived at the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Finally, he's here. I've been waiting for so many days. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes lit up, and he became spirited. Finally, the plot of the Way of the King began. When Lan Qingyao went back to complain, Jun Zhangjian became angry and decided to teach him a lesson. It just so happened that Jun Xiaoyao needed someone to test his divine elephant overpowering strength. Jun Linglong's pretty face was calm. She knew that Jun Zhangjian couldn't do anything to Jun Xiaoyao. Little brother Xiaoyao, this is the first time we've met since you were born. I didn't expect it to be under such circumstances. What a pity. A hearty voice sounded. Jun Zhangjian stepped through the door, followed by Lan Qingya, who was in a sorry state. She lowered her head and carried a bramble on her back. This isn't right. Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. He felt that Jun Zhangjian wasn't playing by the rules. One of my followers offended little brother Xiaoyao, so I asked her to come here and ask for forgiveness. I hope little brother Xiaoyao can be magnanimous. Jun Zhangjian smiled faintly. Lan Qingya gritted her teeth. She felt extremely humiliated, but she still knelt on the ground. She squeezed out a sentence from her mouth and said, I hope Lord Son of God and Jun Linglong can forgive Qingya. After saying this, Lan Qingya wanted to bury her head in the ground. Jun Linglong's pretty face was cold. Jun Xiaoyao was also silent. Jun Zhangjian's eyes twitched when he saw this. He was really afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would tell on the 18th ancestor. If that happened, his future as a sequence would be completely ruined. Jun Zhangjian secretly gritted his teeth and took out a token. By the way, I accidentally obtained 2 supreme tokens of Yuan Tian when I was training outside. Rumor has it that they might be related to Supreme Yuntian's secret treasure. I have no use for one more, so I'll give it to little brother Xiaoyao. Supreme secret treasure. Jun Linglong's beautiful eyes were also secretly shocked. Above the saint stage was the supremacy stage. Supremacies were existences that truly stood at the peak of the immortal realm. They were immortal and invincible. The value of such a supremacy's secret treasure was unimaginable. If this kind of token was released to the outside world, it would cause a bloodbath. Countless geniuses would fight to the death for it. Jun Zhangjian also spent a lot of effort and paid a high price to obtain 2 of them. Jun Xiaoyao was also surprised. He didn't expect Jun Zhangjian to be willing to give away such a good thing. Just as he was thinking, the system's voice sounded in his mind again. Ding! Congratulations to the host. A new check-in location has been refreshed. Please check in at the supreme secret treasure of Yuan Tian. A new check-in location? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. He discovered some rules of the check-in system. First, multiple check-in locations could exist at the same time. Second, the check-in locations could be triggered by events. For example, when he learned about the supreme secret treasure of Yuan Tian, the check-in location would be refreshed. Well, it seems that I have to go there in the future, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Check-in opportunities were very rare. Those unknown rewards were also very tempting. Little brother Zhangjian, you're too polite, Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. He raised his hand and grabbed the supreme token of Yuan Tian. Jun Zhangjian's mouth twitched. I may not be a human, but you're a real dog. However, while Jun Zhangjian was heartbroken, he was also shocked. What a strong power. It's golden. Is it really the sacred body of the ancients like the rumors say? Chapter 10. Jun Zhangjian had vaguely heard from the elders of his lineage that Jun Xiaoyao had the sacred body of the ancients. At that time, Jun Zhangjian still did not believe it. Not to mention that the sacred body of the ancients was almost extinct in recent times. Even if one were to appear occasionally, it would quickly fade into obscurity. This was because in recent times, the environment was not suitable for the cultivation of the sacred body of the ancients. There were even 10 shackles from the heavens that restricted the cultivation of the sacred body. If Jun Xiaoyao really had the sacred body of the ancients, it would be tantamount to a useless body. Would the 18th ancestor value a useless body? Therefore, Jun Zhangjian had always thought that Jun Xiaoyao might have some kind of constitution similar to the sacred body of the ancients. But now, he saw the golden mana surge when Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand. It was indeed like the sacred body of the ancients. This was because the sacred body of the ancients was born with a golden spirit sea. Even the blood was golden sacred blood. Brother Xiaoyao, do you really have the rumored sacred body of the ancients? Jun Zhangjian could not help but ask. That's right. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. This was not a secret in the first place, and he did not plan to hide it. After hearing Jun Xiaoyao's confirmation, Jun Zhangjian's eyes flashed with shock. Lan Qingya, who was kneeling on the ground, was also shocked. He really does have the sacred body of the ancients. If that's the case, why is Jun Zhangjian afraid of a useless body? Lan Qingya lowered her head. Her eyes were filled with resentment. She would never forget the humiliation she had suffered today. If that's the case, I'll take my leave. Jun Zhangjian cupped his hands slightly. Jun Zhangjian did not want to stay any longer after losing a big piece of his flesh. Wait, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly said. Brother Xiaoyao, Jun Zhangjian's mouth twitched slightly. Was this brother of his so greedy that he wanted to swallow an elephant? Jun Xiaoyao cleared his throat and said, Ahem, Brother Zhangjian, you've misunderstood. I was just excited to see you and wanted to spar with you. Jun Zhangjian had a strange look in his eyes. He shook his head and said with a smile, Brother Xiaoyao, you're still young. There's no need for this. When you grow up in the future, we'll exchange pointers again. Jun Xiaoyao was only 3 years old, while Jun Zhangjian was already 13 or 14 years old. If he injured Jun Xiaoyao, he would not be able to bear the wrath of the 18th ancestor. Therefore, Jun Zhangjian directly refused. It's just a spar. I hope you won't refuse, Jun Xiaoyao insisted. Sigh. If that's the case, all right then. But I hope you'll know your limits. Jun Zhangjian's face was calm and indifferent. In terms of status, he was indeed no match for Jun Xiaoyao. However, in terms of cultivation realm, he could easily crush Jun Xiaoyao. A moment later, they arrived in open space outside the Heavenly Emperor Palace. At this time, a group of Jun family members had already gathered outside the Heavenly Emperor Palace to watch the show. They craned their necks to look around, wanting to know the outcome of the matter. They saw Jun Xiaoyao and Jun Zhangjian walking out as if they were about to fight. Their faces were full of shock. What's going on? Didn't they say they were going to apologize? Why are they fighting? No, judging by the way Xiaoyao and Son of God are acting, there shouldn't be any conflict between them. It's just a spar. Some of the more perceptive people saw through it. Their eyes were full of interest. The spar between the two was very interesting. One was the son of God, who had countless halos since young, and the other was the Sequence 10 who had long been famous. Although no one thought that Jun Xiaoyao could beat Jun Zhangjian due to his age and cultivation level, they were still betting. How many moves do you think Xiaoyao and Son of God can take from Jun Zhangjian? I'm guessing 3 moves. No, he should be able to withstand at least 10 moves. Hearing those people's words, Jun Zhangjian couldn't help but curl his lips. Although handing over the supreme token of Yuantian made his heart bleed, it seemed that he could show off now. Brother Xiaoyao, be careful. As soon as Jun Zhangjian finished speaking, the aura of the 5th level of Divinity Palace gushed out. He didn't use any martial arts moves. He just used his fingers as a sword and pointed at Jun Xiaoyao. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao simply clenched his 5 fingers into a fist and punched out. 1,000 granules of the giant elephant in his body were awakened, adding 5 million pounds of terrifying divine power. With this punch, the void seemed to distort, and a huge blast of air burst out. Feeling the power, Jun Zhangjian's expression changed immediately. He hurriedly tried to withdraw his hand, but it was too late. Boom! A loud noise was heard, accompanied by the sound of bones cracking. Jun Zhangjian's body was sent flying like a cannonball, and the bones in his fingers were shattered. The scene stunned all the Jun family members who were watching the show. What on earth happened? Lan Xingya, who followed him out, also froze. Jun Linglong's beautiful eyes shone brightly. She didn't follow the wrong person. Cough, cough. Jun Zhangjian's face was covered in dust, and the bones in his fingers were shattered. His eyes were also filled with horror. That terrifying divine power made him feel a lingering fear. Jun Xiaoyao was also very surprised. Isn't Jun Zhangjian the Sequence 10 of the Jun family? Shouldn't he be very powerful? That's it. That's it. Jun Xiaoyao's expression darkened slightly. Brother Zhangjian, you can't be so modest just because I'm young. That's an insult to me. After saying that, Jun Xiaoyao directly took the initiative to attack. Jun Zhangjian's expression changed, and at the same time, he felt bitter. He swore to the heavens that he wasn't being modest. However, not only Jun Xiaoyao, but even the onlookers of the Jun family were talking about it. They all thought that Jun Zhangjian was being modest. 9 swords of the rising sun. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao, who attacked again, Jun Zhangjian had no choice but to go all out. He slashed out 9 sword lights one after another, tearing the air apart. The fluctuations were so strong that it was shocking. Underworld protection. Jun Xiaoyao immediately used the defensive technique of the divine elephant overpowering divine elephant. In an instant, it was as if the shadow of the underworld deity had appeared and enveloped his entire body. The 9 sword lights collided with the shadow of the underworld deity and shattered into countless specks of light. Jun Xiaoyao rushed out again, and a pair of pitch-black wings appeared on his back. It was the devil's wings. His speed suddenly skyrocketed, and he flashed in front of Jun Zhangjian. Spear of the underworld deity. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and grabbed. Endless divine power surged and turned into a purple-black spear. It burned with pitch-black flames, as if it could pierce through everything in the world. Purple Emperor's sword art. Jun Zhangjian hurriedly used his trump card, and a purple sword shadow slashed out. Boom! A huge collision occurred. However, the result was that the underworld deity spear, which was enhanced with a force of 5 million kilograms, directly broke through the purple sword shadow and continued to fall on Jun Zhangjian. Jun Zhangjian hurriedly took out the long sword on his back and blocked with it. Bang! With a loud collision, Jun Zhangjian's long sword was knocked out of his hand. His entire body was thrown into the air and crashed into a wall. The eyes of the Jun family members who came to watch the show almost popped out. Their eyes were full of shock. It's only been 3 moves, right? Jun Zhangjian, the Sequence 10, has been defeated. Even if he was being modest, it shouldn't be to this extent. At this time, even Jun Xiaoyao came to his senses. It turns out that Jun Zhangjian wasn't being modest. He was just too strong. Jun Xiaoyao secretly shook his head when he thought about how he had misunderstood Jun Zhangjian. He blamed himself very much. He walked up to Jun Zhangjian, who was covered in dust, and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, Brother Zhangjian. I misunderstood you. I thought you were being modest. I didn't expect you to really try your best." When Jun Zhangjian heard this, he almost spat out the blood he had just swallowed. Chapter 11. Jun Zhangjian's face went from green to red. He had thought that he could not hit Jun Xiaoyao too hard, as it would have been bad if he had hurt him. Now, he was covered in dust and wounds. "Little Brother Xiaoyao, you really have the bearing of a god. I'm impressed." Jun Zhangjian got up and forced a smile that was uglier than crying. Today, he had lost all his face. Jun Xiaoyao went all out as soon as he started fighting. He did not even have time to use his indestructible sword body. However, even if Jun Zhangjian had been able to use his indestructible sword body, he was not confident that he would have been able to suppress Jun Xiaoyao. That was because Jun Xiaoyao had been born with the reverence of the 10,000 Saints phenomenon. Who would have been able to resist the sacred body phenomenon? What monster? Jun Zhangjian sighed to himself. He was only 3 years old, and he already had such strength. In a few years, he would be able to challenge the Sequence 5. Everyone around them was so shocked that they could not close their mouths. It would not take long for the news of this battle to spread throughout the Jun family. Jun Xiaoyao had just broken through the extreme stage of the eternity at the old tablet of Taiyue, and now he had defeated Jun Zhangjian. A small number of people who had doubts about Jun Xiaoyao before were now in awe of him. "Little Brother Xiaoyao, you have a bright future ahead of you. When you are 10 years old, you will definitely be in the sequence, even above me," Jun Zhangjian said. According to the rules of the Jun family, the younger generation was only eligible to compete for the sequence after they were 10 years old. Jun Xiaoyao shrugged. He had long been the sequence 0 of the 18 ancestors. His status was even above that of the sequence 1. It was just that it had not been announced yet. It would be announced at the 10 years old banquet. When Jun Zhangjian found out about it, he wondered what kind of expression he would have. "Brother Xiaoyao, goodbye." Jun Zhangjian only wanted to go into closed-door training now. Jun Xiaoyao calmly said, "By the way, Brother Zhangjian, you are a sequence member. There is no need for you to have any random Tom, Dick, or Harry as your follower. That would be beneath your dignity." Jun Zhangjian's eyes flashed, and he said, "Got it." Upon hearing this, Lan Qingya's face turned incomparably red. She felt extremely humiliated. It was obvious that the nobody Jun Xiaoyao was referring to was her. After that, Jun Zhangjian and Lan Qingya left. "I'm still not good enough." Jun Xiaoyao pondered. Although he was at the stage of building his foundation, it was time for him to cultivate some martial arts. Otherwise, his methods would be too simple. As a clan of the ancients, the Jun family had no shortage of rare martial arts manuals. "I'll go ask Grandpa," Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. On the other side, Jun Zhangjian stopped after walking for a short distance. "It seems that you should leave the Jun family for the sake of our past relationship," Jun Zhangjian said indifferently. "No, Sir Zhangjian, don't chase me away." Lan Qingya's face suddenly turned pale. In the Jun family, any cultivation resource was at her fingertips. Her status was also higher than the others. If she left the Jun family, she would be no different from those female cultivators struggling at the bottom. Get lost. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have gotten into this kind of trouble and lost so much face. Jun Zhangjian swung his arm and sent Lan Qingya flying, causing her to spit out blood. Looking at Jun Zhangjian's back as he left indifferently, the pain on Lan Qingya's face turned into a bone-deep hatred. "Jun Xiaoyao, it's all your fault. You use your status to bully others. The sacred body of the ancients. Could it be the sacred body of the ancients with one shackle broken? If this news is spread to the Jun family's enemies, or the Archean royalty," Lan Qingya's face changed as she guessed. With her limited imagination, she could not imagine that Jun Xiaoyao had a sacred body of the ancients with 10 shackles broken. In her opinion, a sacred body of the ancients with one shackle broken was very rare. "Right. I heard that Jun Xiaoyao is going to hold a 10 years old banquet in the future. When the time comes, if he brings enemies here, Lan Qingya knew that with her own abilities, she would never be able to get revenge on Jun Xiaoyao, let alone in this life, the next life, or the one after that. The only way was to kill with a borrowed knife. Just you wait, Jun Xiaoyao and Jun Linglong, that be *TCH. You'll all pay the price. Lan Qingya's hair was disheveled and her face was covered in dirt. In the end, she was taken away by the Jun family's guards and kicked out of the house. On the other hand, Jun Xiaoyao did not care about a nobody like Lan Qingya. In Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, she was less than an ant. The reason why he warned Jun Zhangjian was that he did not want to see her in the future. At the moment, Jun Xiaoyao was asking Jun Zhangjian for advice. What? You want to learn martial arts? That's too ambitious. Jun Zhangjian frowned his white eyebrows. The way he saw it, Jun Xiaoyao was being a bit too rash. He was only 3 years old. It was the time for him to build his foundation. What was the point of learning martial arts? Moreover, learning martial arts required talent and comprehension. It also took a lot of time. Let me give it a try. If it takes too much time, I'll just not learn it, Jun Xiaoyao said. In the end, Jun Zhangjian could only agree to let Jun Xiaoyao learn martial arts first. Moreover, Jun Zhangjian deliberately chose a very powerful, high-level, and very complicated offensive martial arts from the Jun family. This is the combatant formula. After mastering it, one's transcendence energy can be condensed into sabers, spears, swords, halberds, axes, hooks, tridents, and other divine weapons. Once the combatant formula is used, thousands of divine weapons will follow and destroy the heavens and the earth. It's extremely powerful, Jun Zhangjian explained. All right, I'll practice the combatant formula then. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with excitement. Jun Zhangjian chuckled and thought proudly in his heart, "Grandson, you're still too inexperienced if you want to compete with your grandfather." Even your grandfather had to cultivate this magical ability for a full year before he was able to reach the entry level. Jun Zhangjian expected Jun Xiaoyao to give up after a few days of practice. However, a few days later, inside the heavenly Arch Palace, there was a loud boom and endless golden light surged into the sky. Golden transcendence energy swept across like a storm, then condensed into sabers, spears, swords, halberds, and other divine weapons, which split the heavens and the earth. Grandfather, it's been a few days, and I've only just learned the basics. Cultivating martial arts is indeed very complicated. Jun Xiaoyao walked out and shook his head with a disappointed expression. Cough! Jun Zhangjian almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Grandfather? Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. No, nothing. If you want to learn any martial arts in the future, go to the martial pavilion and find them yourself. Grandfather needs some peace and quiet. Jun Zhangjian turned around and left. He didn't want to stay with this little monster for a moment longer, because if he stayed any longer, Jun Zhangjian's Tao heart would collapse. He would wonder if he had lived all these years in vain. Jun Xiaoyao was utterly confused by what was going on. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. This year, Jun Xiaoyao was already 8 years old. The young man had just grown up and was as handsome as an immortal. Sometimes, Jun Linglong could stare at Jun Xiaoyao's handsome face for an entire day without feeling bored at all. For any girl, being able to see such a handsome face every day was definitely a blessing that couldn't be accumulated over 3 lifetimes. Jun Xiaoyao himself had been focusing on cultivation and didn't slack off. His cultivation method was the supreme method of the Jun family, the Sutra of Taishian. His body-tempering method was the divine elephant overpowering force. His soul-tempering method was the visualization of chaotic divinity. Other than that, he was also cultivating some of the Jun family's martial arts, including the combatant formula. It could be said that he was progressing at the same time. Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation also directly crossed the 9 levels of the Spirit C stage and broke into the Divinity stage, which was about the same level as Jun Zhangjian's cultivation back then. Due to the special characteristics of the sacred body of the ancients, the Spirit C in his Dantian was a boundless golden one. The density of his magic power was unmatched by anyone of the same level. It could be said that the spirit sea was endless. There are only 2 years left until the 10-years-old banquet. After the banquet, I should go out and travel the world. I should also look for information about the supreme treasure of Yuan-Tian. Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. He couldn't forget about these 2 check-ins. After all, he had already signed in the sacred body of the ancients and the divine elephant overpowering force. He was very curious about what other good things he could get. On the other hand, Jun Linglong was also cultivating in one of the side halls of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. She had completely become Jun Xiaoyao's loyal maidservant. At one point, Jun Linglong felt something and took out a jade scroll for transmitting messages. There was a message in it. Chapter 12. The Fire State was one of the 3,000 mystical states of the Huangtian mystic realm. Its area was far smaller than the Emperor's State, where the Jun family was located. It was only 1% of the Emperor's State. However, even if it was only 1% of the Emperor's State, the Fire State was still a vast Taoist state. In the Fire Province, there were not many forces standing tall and strong. The ancient kingdom of Phoenix was the one that ruled the entire Fire State. The ancient kingdom of Phoenix was an ancient force with a long history. While it was not as powerful as the clan of the ancients, it was still a force with a deep heritage and a reputation. Other than the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, there were also the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon, the ancient kingdom of White Tiger, and the ancient kingdom of Black Tortoise. The 4 great ancient kingdoms were collectively known as the 4 quadrants. At that moment, in a magnificent hall in the royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, a middle-aged man dressed in a crimson gold robe was lying on the bed. His glabella was dark and his aura was weak. It was as if he was seriously ill and his life was hanging by a thread. He was the king of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. A beautiful woman stood beside the bed. She wore a red feather robe. Her figure was slim, her legs were long, and her skin was snowy white. Her long red hair looked like dancing flames. Her beautiful eyes were a beautiful crimson color. Her nose was high, her lips were bright red, and her teeth were crystal clear. In particular, there was a little cinnabar between her eyebrows. Together with her jade-like face, she appeared even more beautiful and charming. That woman was the princess of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, Baiyu. Father, I will find the elixir of immortality and save you. Baiyu bit her lip and said, It's been hard on you. The elixir of immortality can't be forced. The king of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix shook his head slightly. His voice was extremely weak and filled with despair. The elixir of immortality was extremely rare. Even the supreme orthodoxies and immortal forces did not have much stock of it. It was even more impossible for them to be so kind as to give it to the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. While the ancient kingdom of Phoenix had a strong foundation and had many top-notch sacred medicines, they did not have a single elixir of immortality. After all, the appearance of any elixir of immortality would cause a bloodbath in the outside world. People would fight over it. So how could they sell it to others? Don't worry, Father. With my abilities, I will definitely be able to get the elixir of immortality. Baiyu's eyes were filled with determination, turning her grief into strength. Who was she? She was the princess of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. Was the divine fire between her eyebrows? Not to mention, her appearance was one of the best in the Huangtian mystic realm. Many young geniuses from various forces were Baiyu's bootlickers. As a result, Baiyu developed a somewhat noble and aloof personality. She believed that she would be able to save her father and the entire ancient kingdom of Phoenix. The young geniuses of those factions are all trash. When we need them, they can't even take out the elixir of immortality. And then there's my fiancé, Xiao Chun. Even though he's the first prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon, he couldn't get a single stalk of the immortality herb. Baiyu walked out of the palace with a solemn face. A few years after her father's accident, the power of the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird declined steadily. After that, the ancient kingdom of Dragon came to propose a marriage alliance. At that time, the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon promised to give the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird a stalk of immortality herb. Baiyu and Xiao Chun the eldest prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon, had known each other since they were young. Although they had always kept a distance from each other, they were still childhood sweethearts. After weighing the pros and cons in her heart, Bayur finally agreed. However, after such a long time, the elixir of immortality was still nowhere to be found, even though the engagement had been set. Furthermore, the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird was currently in a weakened state, and they were unable to ask the ancient kingdom of Dragon for it. As such, Bayur could only rely on herself to find the elixir of immortality. What should I do? Father can't fall. Bayur could not help but feel anxious. All right, how come I almost forgot about that bestie of mine, Jun Linglong? Bayur suddenly recalled. She once ran into Jun Linglong in a secret realm, and the two of them got along quite well. Although they did not contact each other much after that, Jun Linglong's personality meant that she would not just ignore her friend. Furthermore, the Jun family definitely had the elixir of immortality. Bayur's breath quickened at that thought. She quickly took out a jade scroll and sent a message. On the other hand, Jun Linglong received the message in the side hall of the Jun family's Heavenly Emperor Palace. The King of Vermilion Bird is seriously ill, and he needs the elixir of immortality to treat him. Jun Linglong frowned slightly after receiving the message. Truth be told, she would have almost forgotten about her bestie if it were not for Bayur's message. Bayur was the princess of an ancient nation, and her status was noble. However, Jun Linglong was even more of a proud daughter of the clan of the ancients. Although she was now Jun Xiaoyao's maid, she was still the princess of the Jun family who was highly sought after by everyone in the outside world. Asking for the elixir of immortality as soon as she opened her mouth. She sure is greedy. However, I do know her after all. Jun Linglong frowned slightly. The problem was that she did not have the elixir of immortality. At that moment, a voice transmission was heard in Jun Linglong's mind through her soul. Linglong, make some tea. Jun Linglong hurriedly got up. It was Jun Xiaoyao asking her to make tea. In a steaming pool filled with divine qi, Jun Xiaoyao was half naked. His body looked like it was carved out of divine jade, and it was glowing. Jun Xiaoyao, who was already 8 years old, was tall and slender. Jun Linglong entered from the side and handed a cup of enlightenment tea to Jun Xiaoyao. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao gradually growing up and becoming more and more handsome, Jun Linglong had the illusion that she was growing up to be a Shota. What's wrong? Is something the matter? Jun Xiaoyao took a sip of tea and asked casually. Nothing. Jun Linglong's eyelashes fluttered slightly. Tell me, do you think you can hide it from me? Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and smiled. Jun Linglong bit her lips slightly. In the end, she told him about Bayur. I see. The elixir of immortality? Huh? I don't lack it. Jun Xiaoyao shrugged. Back at the old tablet of Taiyue, he obtained 3 elixirs of immortality. Later, the 18th ancestor gave him 5 more. Jun Xiaoyao had only refined 3 elixirs of immortality over the years, so there are 5 left. Since she's your best friend, I don't mind giving her one. Tell her to come over. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand and said, You're giving it to her just like that? Jun Linglong was slightly stunned. She really didn't understand the world of tycoons. However, Jun Linglong still nodded slightly and replied to Bayur. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a faint smile. Naturally, he didn't want to be a nice guy. He had his own thoughts and plans. The light of the righteous path should be left to the pillars of the righteous path. The image of a saint didn't suit him at all. Besides, although Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about the elixir of immortality, he wasn't generous enough to give it away. Those sequences of the Jun family not only have the support of various lineages, but they also have vassal orthodoxies. Even Jun Zhangjian has the ancient sword sect and other vassal forces behind him. Those vassal forces didn't submit to the Jun family, but to an individual. The ancient kingdom of Phoenix might have been weakened in recent years, but a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. I could take them in. Who knows, I might be able to take the other 3 ancient kingdoms as my vassal forces as well. Jun Xiaoyao was calculating in his mind. He was sequence 0 after all. If he didn't have any vassal forces behind him, it would be rather unsightly. He still had to have the cards he needed. As for Bai Yuer, there was no way he would let her get the elixir of immortality for free. Jun Xiaoyao wasn't doing charity. He wouldn't do anything that didn't benefit him. Bai Yuer, who received Jun Linglong's reply, was very surprised. That feeling was like rain after a long drought. However, Jun Linglong's message made Bai Yuer fall into deep thought. That was because it wasn't Jun Linglong who was going to give her the elixir of immortality. A genius of the Jun family promised to give me the elixir of immortality. Could it be that he's interested in me? Bai Yuer couldn't help but think. She was quite confident in her looks. After all, she was the #1 beauty in the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. She was quite famous throughout the entire Huangtian mystic realm. In her mind, someone who was willing to give her the elixir of immortality must have been lusting after her body. As expected, even geniuses of the Jun family can't avoid such conventions. Bai Yuer felt a bit disappointed. Geniuses of the Jun family didn't seem to be as extraordinary as she thought. But no matter what, I have to get the elixir of immortality to save Father first. Chapter 13. In the Jun family's heavenly emperor palace, Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged in a secret cultivation room. There were many supreme-grade celestial sources around him, releasing an endless amount of spiritual energy. In the immortal region, most martial artists used ordinary origin stones to cultivate. Cultivators from some top orthodoxies and first-rate forces would use the more precious celestial sources for cultivation. Only the clan of the ancients, supreme orthodoxies, and everlasting dynasties could afford the most precious celestial sources. Above the celestial sources were the celestial sources. However, they could only be found by chance, and most of the clan of the ancients could not afford them. Origin stones of different rarity were divided into 4 grades: low, medium, high, and supreme grade. What Jun Xiaoyao used for his training was the supreme grade divine source, which was second only to the celestial source. If Jun Xiaoyao casually took out a supreme grade celestial source, a group of people would fight to the death for it in the outside world. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed. In his mind, there was a dazzling and magnificent palace. This was the divine palace formed by soul power. The 5 stages of the physical body and divine treasure were all about cultivating the physical body to the extreme. The 9 levels of the spirit sea were about cultivating the Dantian spirit sea, which was related to the strength of one's magical power. The 9 levels of the spirit palace were about cultivating the divine palace and strengthening one's soul. When Jun Xiaoyao broke through to the true spirit realm, a true spirit would be born in the divine palace, and by then, his soul power would skyrocket. In the future, he could even transform his true spirit into a primordial spirit, which could leave his body and travel the world. This chaotic divinity grindstone visualization method is indeed extraordinary. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. In his mind, a chaotic world seemed to be born. In the chaos, a gigantic divine grindstone slowly rotated, crushing the world. The divine grindstone was stained with blood, as if it was the blood of a demon. The chaotic divinity grindstone visualization method relied on visualizing the divine grindstone to crush one's consciousness and soul, and then reconstruct it. Jun Xiaoyao's soul became stronger and stronger in this destruction and rebirth. If it were an ordinary person cultivating this technique, they would definitely be tortured to the point where they would wish they were dead. But for me, it doesn't seem too difficult, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Perhaps it was because he was a transmigrated soul, so his soul power was far stronger than ordinary people. This primal chaos divine grindstone was of great help to him, but it didn't bring him any pain. Additionally, as my cultivation deepens, I will be able to use my soul power to create the divine grindstone of primordial chaos as a means to fight my enemies. I can bear that kind of pain, but I don't think others can. Jun Xiaoyao clicked his tongue and sighed. He seemed to have gained another powerful trump card. At the same time, in the sky above Emperor State, a fire spirit sparrow was pulling a luxurious carriage. It flapped its wings and flew through the air, leaving behind a dazzling trail of flames. This attracted a lot of attention. That carriage has the vermilion bird totem on it. It looks like it belongs to the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. That's right. Rumor has it that the royal family of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix used fire spirit sparrows to pull their carriages. Could it be that by you, the princess whose beauty is known far and wide? Looking at the direction it's heading, it's the June residence. The arrival of the carriage caused a lot of people to talk about it. It didn't take long for the carriage to stop outside the June residence. Other than the June family's own people, anyone from other forces who dared to cross the sky above the June residence would be regarded as an intruder and killed on the spot. The curtain of the carriage was lifted, and a tall, beautiful woman with long, slender legs wearing a red feather dress stepped out. She was none other than Bayou. She came alone this time and did not bring anyone with her. Bayou looked around and saw countless divine islands floating in the air inside the June residence. All kinds of grotto heavens were spouting light. This shocked Bayou. Although the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was a first-class force with a reputation far and wide, it was still nothing compared to the June family, a family of the clan of the ancients. There was not much of a comparison. However, Bayou's lips curled into a smirk of confidence and faint disdain. So what if the June family was a transcendent force? That genius from the June family wanted to give her the elixir of immortality, because he wanted her body. However, Bayou had already made up her mind that she would not give her body to that genius of the June family so easily. After all, she had a marriage contract. If something were to happen, wouldn't that make the eldest prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon a cuckold? Bayou walked up after making up her mind. The June family's imperial guards were standing guard at the entrance of the June residence. They looked like towering iron towers and were brimming with vigor. "Stop right there. Tell me your name." The imperial guard of the June family said coldly. "I'm Bayou the princess of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. I'm here to greet June Linglong." Bayou said plainly. "Greet the princess? Do you have a token? Get lost if you don't." The imperial guard of the June family said coldly. Bayou's pretty face froze. She was the princess of a kingdom after all. Even a mere guard of the June family dared to scold her like that. However, she had come to ask for a favor, so she had no choice but to be patient and take out the jade scroll used to communicate with June Linglong. "Go in." The imperial guard of the June family waved his hand indifferently. Bayou bit her lip. Her identity as a princess was not worth mentioning before the June family. On the other side, June Linglong found June Xiaoyao as well. "Lord Son of God, she's here," June Linglong said. Let's go see this princess." June Xiaoyao stood up. He was dressed in white and looked handsome. Although he was only 8 years old, his body was as tall as a teenager's. On the other side, Bayou walked into a courtyard that looked like a paradise. June Linglong had agreed to meet her there. Bayou heard footsteps before long and looked in the direction of the footsteps. A young man with a slender figure and jade-like skin was slowly walking over. He looked like the Son of God. He looked divine and handsome, and he was shrouded in a thin layer of light. Bayou was completely dumbfounded. She had seen many geniuses and young talents before, and all of them were handsome and charming. However, compared to the young man in front of her, she was like a firefly compared to the moon, or a loach compared to a dragon. Even her fiancé, the eldest prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon, was handsome and talented. However, he still looked dull when compared to the young man in front of her. Next to June Xiaoyao was June Linglong, who was dressed in palace attire, trailing behind him. When Bayou saw this detail, she took a deep breath in her heart. June Linglong was the noble daughter of the June family. She was someone that even she had to curry favor with. Why did she feel like she had become a servant at the moment? Where did this genius of the June family come from? Is he a sequence? Bayou was shocked. "So you're Bayou?" June Xiaoyao asked casually. "That's right." Bayou bowed slightly, but she was very reserved. She also came back to her senses. So what if the young man in front of her was otherworldly? He was still plotting something against her. If that was the case, there was no need for her to lower herself and lower herself. "So, You're asking for a stalk of the immortality herb to save your father. Jun Xiaoyao continued. That's right. I hope you'll be kind enough to lend a helping hand, sir. Bai'er, who said calmly without the slightest hint of humility in her tone. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly when he saw that. Why does this attitude feel like something's not right? It's as if she's not there to ask for the herb at all. She's there to ask for it as a matter of course. Oh, but can you give me a reason? The immortality herb doesn't just fall from the sky, Jun Xiaoyao said casually. Bai Yu's pretty face froze for a moment. Then, her lips curled into a faint sneer. So, he's here with a purpose, huh? However, there was no way Bai Yu would trade herself for the immortality herb. She then said, Sir, you're an extraordinary person. I'm sure you're of high status in the Jun family. You shouldn't be lacking in immortality herbs. If you give me a stalk of the immortality herb, you can save a life. Not only that, but saving my father would also mean saving the lives of hundreds of millions of people in the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. This is a piece of cake for you, sir. You'll be able to gain merits and fame in return. Are you not willing to do that, sir? Bai Yu said, standing on the moral high ground. Jun Xiaoyao had the ability to save people, so why wouldn't he? With great power came great responsibility. Was that not the case? Jun Xiaoyao felt like laughing when he heard that somewhat familiar statement. It reminded him of those internet keyboard warriors from his previous life who forced celebrities and rich people to donate. Chapter 14. He took a good look at Bai Yu. Her face was flawless, her skin was translucent, and her legs were long and slender. She was indeed a famous beauty. The cinnabar between her eyebrows was especially eye-catching. It was as red as fire and looked very alluring. It seemed to contain a divine fire that could burn heaven and earth. Bai Yu's aptitude was not bad. Jun Xiaoyao had originally planned to use her as a pawn to manage the ancient kingdom of Phoenix for him, if she was obedient. But now, it seemed that she was yet another arrogant beauty who was used to being fawned upon. She thought that all the men in the world would revolve around her and fawn over her. If it were any other ordinary traveler, they might have fawned over her first. Too bad I'm not. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head. Jun Xiaoyao had invincible talents, an invincible identity, and an invincible background. He was a tall, rich, and handsome man. Now it was time for others to fawn over him, not the other way around. For example, Jun Linglong was the first woman to fawn over him. However, Bai Yu's IQ was obviously not as high as Jun Linglong's. In other words, she had become arrogant after being fawned upon for too long. She dared to put on an act in front of Jun Xiaoyao. How long have we known each other? Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and asked. Bai Yu was slightly stunned. Why did he bring up something irrelevant all of a sudden? But Bai Yu still said, This is the first time I've met you, sir. Asking for the elixir of immortality so matter-of-factly from someone you've just met for the first time. Although I did promise you before, did I say that I would give it to the ancient kingdom of Phoenix for free? Besides, what does the survival of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix have to do with me? Is your father's life that important to me? The smile on Jun Xiaoyao's face faded as he asked coldly. Bai Yu only came to her senses then, and her face turned red. Jun Xiaoyao's 3 questions left her speechless. Her expression was awkward and unnatural. Indeed, Jun Linglong only told her that there was a genius of the Jun family who was willing to give her the elixir of immortality. She did not say that it would be for free. Furthermore, the survival of the king of Vermilion Bird and the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird had nothing to do with Jun Xiaoyao. But young master, you don't lack elixirs of immortality. Just give them away and you can save a life or even billions of lives. Why wouldn't you be willing? Bai Yu was still standing on the moral high ground. Jun Xiaoyao's expression became completely indifferent. He said coldly, It's very simple. Because the elixir of immortality is mine. As long as I want it, I can even give it to a dog. Hearing this, Bai Yu's delicate body trembled slightly. Her face turned pale as a sense of humiliation welled up from the bottom of her heart. Didn't Jun Xiaoyao's words mean that in his eyes, her father wasn't even comparable to a dog? Thinking of this, Bai Yu could not help but blurt out in anger. Young master, there's no need to find excuses. Aren't you just coveting my body? But unfortunately, you already has a fiancé. Forgive me for being unable to comply with this condition." As soon as he finished speaking, June Linglong's beautiful face instantly changed. She did not expect Baiyu to say something so indiscreet. Baiyu also came to her senses. She felt a gust of cold air permeating her delicate body. Her face was as white as a sheet. She had actually said what was in her heart. June Xiaoyao laughed. Hearing his laughter, Baiyu felt even more terrified. June Xiaoyao reached out and wrapped his arm around June Linglong's slender and soft waist. 5 years had passed. June Linglong was now 19 years old. She had just begun to mature. Her body was soft and graceful, thin where it should be and full where it should be. When June Xiaoyao suddenly wrapped his arm around her slender waist, June Linglong could not help but groan softly, and her cheeks blushed. June Xiaoyao's face was playful, but his eyes were indifferent. "Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror?" "Do I, the son of God, need to do that? Isn't it nice to lust after Linglong's body? Who do you think you are?" Those two sentences made by you feel extremely embarrassed. Her face and ears were flushed. June Linglong was indeed better than her in all aspects. However, what shocked Baiyu even more was June Xiaoyao's self-proclamation. He was the son of God. Oh my God, could this person be the son of God of the June family? Baiyu felt as if her mind was struck by lightning. Her mind was in turmoil. Her slender legs trembled, and she collapsed to the ground. The son of God of the clan of the ancients was an absolute symbol of status. Baiyu initially thought that the young man in front of her was one of the more outstanding geniuses of the June family. She never thought that he was the son of God. "Lord Son of God, please forgive Baiyu's rudeness." Baiyu knelt on the ground and kowtowed. She did not even care that her fiery red hair was stained with dust. June Xiaoyao's face remained impassive. June Linglong, who had his arm wrapped around her waist, was dizzy. June Linglong's heart throbbed when she heard the words, "my Linglong." June Xiaoyao looked at Baiyu, who was kneeling on the ground and begging for forgiveness, and shook his head slightly. "You only get what you pay for. This is a principle that even children understand." "It seems that you don't understand," June Xiaoyao said coldly. Baiyu was dreaming if she thought that she could get an immortality herb for free. He flung his sleeve and turned around to leave. June Linglong calmed herself down and sighed at Baiyu. "I can't help you with your rudeness in front of Lord Son of God. No, I beg you. My father still needs the immortality herb to save his life. He might not be able to live for more than a few years." Baiyu cried and lamented. She was filled with regret. If she had known, she would have accepted the conditions. Her arrogance had gotten her into trouble. If you knew this would happen, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. June Linglong expressed her helplessness. There was no way she would upset June Xiaoyao just for Baiyu, who was not even close to her. "I'm willing to kneel outside the Son of God's chamber and beg for his forgiveness." Baiyu kept kowtowing. Her fair forehead was stained with blood. Be it for the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, her father, or herself, Baiyu had to get June Xiaoyao's forgiveness. June Linglong shook her head and let her be. Not long after, some members of the June family saw a beauty in red kneeling outside June Xiaoyao's chamber in the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Her beautiful face was filled with extreme regret and determination. "Hey, that seems to be the princess of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. Why is she kneeling there? Shoo, she seems to have offended Lord Son of God. Let's stay out of it." Everyone in the June family avoided Baiyu and treated her like air. In the Heavenly Emperor Palace, June Xiaoyao was lying in a spirit pool and relaxing. "Lord Son of God." June Linglong walked in. "What is it? Are you going to plead for her?" June Xiaoyao smiled faintly. "No, she deserved it. It's just that Linglong thinks that the ancient kingdom of Phoenix behind her is still useful." June Linglong pondered and said. She had Linglong's heart, which made her quick-witted and intelligent. "Yeah, I have my own plans for her. Her personality is too bad, and she needs to be trained. Just leave her there for now," June Xiaoyao said casually. While he did not like Baiyu, June Xiaoyao did not want to give up on the ancient kingdom of Phoenix just like that. With Bayou as a bridge, he would be able to better control the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. Lord Son of God, you really are a little naughty. June Linglong rolled her eyes at him, which was a rare sight. She was a little presumptuous and coquettish. He was only 8 years old, but he behaved like an old adult. Even though she had Linglong's heart, she could not read the mind of the person in front of her. If I were really naughty, I wouldn't have just wrapped my arms around your waist just now. Jun Xiaoyao smiled casually as his eyes moved down June Linglong's slender waist. The curve of her buttocks under the palace dress was full and tempting. Lord Son of God, I'll take my leave. June Linglong sensed Jun Xiaoyao's gaze and blushed. She turned around and left in a hurry. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Sometimes, teasing this smart maidservant was a way to relax. Bayou's fiancé, I hope he has some self-awareness. Bayou was something that Jun Xiaoyao had to teach her a good lesson, as she was still of use to him. Compared to killing her, wouldn't it be better to train her into a slave or a pawn? As for her fiancé, regardless of his background, Jun Xiaoyao did not care. Chapter 15. More than half a year passed in the blink of an eye. Magical power fluctuations and rumbling noises could be heard from time to time in the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Everyone in the Jun family knew that Jun Xiaoyao had made another breakthrough. At first, many members of the Jun family were very surprised by Jun Xiaoyao's speed of making breakthroughs. But by now, they were no longer surprised. If he did not make such breakthroughs, the members of the Jun family would find it strange. For the past half a year, Bayou had been kneeling outside the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Her face had become pale and skinny. Compared to half a year ago, she had lost a lot of weight. Because she was a cultivator, she would not starve to death even if she did not eat for half a year, but she would become weak. Now, she no longer had the high and mighty demeanor of a princess of a country. She looked like a lowly slave begging Jun Xiaoyao for mercy. During this time, Jun Xiaoyao did not pay attention to her at all. Even when they walked out of the Heavenly Emperor Palace and ran into each other, Jun Xiaoyao would not even look at her. It was as if she did not exist. Bayou only showed a self-deprecating smile in response. She had brought this upon herself. She deserved it. In the Heavenly Emperor Palace, Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged in the secret chamber to cultivate. Along with a rumbling noise, Jun Xiaoyao's aura climbed to the peak and made another breakthrough. I've made a breakthrough to the 9th level of Divinity Palace, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. Starting from the 5 levels of physical body, he went through the 5 levels of divine treasure, the 9 levels of spirit sea, and now the 9 levels of Divinity Palace. Jun Xiaoyao, who was only 8 years old, made a total of 28 breakthroughs in cultivation in the past 8 years. This was absolutely terrifying. Generally speaking, even some geniuses would need about 20 years to make so many breakthroughs. Jun Xiaoyao did it in only 8 years. It's still not enough. I have to make a breakthrough to the true spirit realm at the 10 years old banquet, Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. He had a feeling that his 10 years old banquet would not be so peaceful. Right, there's still the matter of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix that needs to be taken care of. After that, Jun Xiaoyao sent a telepathic message to Jun Linglong. A moment later, Jun Linglong pushed the door open and entered. Jun Xiaoyao flipped his wrist and took out a precious herb that looked like a qilin, shrouded in purple qi, from his spatial ring. It was none other than the qilin immortal herb. If this stalk of immortality herb were to be released to the outside world, it would definitely cause a bloodbath as countless people would fight over it. Lord Son of God, you want to... Jun Linglong's beautiful eyes flashed. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao was finally going to deal with the affairs of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix? Linglong, go to the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird on my behalf. Tell the king of Vermilion Bird that if he is willing to submit to me, I will give him this immortal qilin herb to save his life. Jun Xiaoyao said as he handed the immortal Kirin pill to Jun Linglong. Linglong will definitely do it. I'll go tell Bayou right away, Jun Linglong said. Bayou had been kneeling outside the Heavenly Emperor Palace for more than half a year. She was sincerely remorseful, and Jun Linglong saw it all. Hold on, don't tell Bayou yet. Let her continue kneeling. We can't let the ancient kingdom of Phoenix tell by you about this herb either, Jun Xiaoyao said with a wave of his hand. He was going to let Bai Yu kneel for a full year first. In the end, when she was about to lose all hope, she heard the news that her father had been cured. One could only imagine how Bai Yu felt at that time. There was no doubt that he would be loyal to Jun Xiaoyao. Why do I feel like I'm becoming more and more like a villain? Jun Xiaoyao rubbed his chin and mumbled to himself. Jun Linglong was very smart, and she had thought of that as well. She couldn't help but admire Jun Xiaoyao's methods even more. It would be difficult for a proud son of heaven who only had martial prowess to make it to the end. Only a proud son of heaven who had both martial prowess and wisdom would have the right to reach the top. After that, Jun Linglong left the Heavenly Emperor Palace and found a protector of her lineage, preparing to head to the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. The protector was an old woman who saw Jun Linglong running errands for Jun Xiaoyao all these years. She couldn't help but feel sorry for her. My lady, is it really worth it for you to do all this? The Son of God might really only see you as a servant girl. Granny Hua, don't say such things in the future. You can't imagine what Lord Son of God will achieve in the future. Even if it's just being a servant girl, Linglong would be content, Jun Linglong said. Granny Hua sighed to herself after hearing that. She naturally didn't know that Jun Linglong had glimpsed a corner of the future. Being a servant girl of the future Heavenly Emperor doesn't seem so bad after all. Jun Linglong and Granny Hua rushed to the ancient kingdom of Phoenix without stopping to rest. At the same time, in the Zhangzhou state, one of the 3,000 mystical states in the Huangtian mystic realm, the entire Zhangzhou state was adjacent to the fire state, and the area was about the same. The one who owned the entire Zhangzhou state was the top orthodoxy, the ancient kingdom of Dragon. Unlike the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, which was declining day by day, the ancient kingdom of Dragon was thriving, and it had the potential to become the leader of the 4 ancient kingdoms. At that moment, in a hall in the royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Dragon, a young man wearing a 4-clawed dragon robe was kneeling on the ground. He looked delicate and handsome, and was very pleasant to look at. He was about 16 or 17 years old. His cultivation had reached the divinity realm. In the clan of the ancients, reaching the divinity realm at such a young age was considered a genius. In the outside world, such a person would definitely be considered a proud son of heaven. He was Bai Yu's fiancé, the eldest prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon, Xiao Chun. At that moment, Xiao Chen's eyes were bloodshot, and his face wore an expression of suppressed anger. He cupped his hands and spoke to the figure on the throne, who was shrouded in boundless mana. Father, please grant me an immortality herb as a gift to the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. The emperor of the Azure Dragon country sat on the throne. His mana vibrated, and it seemed to have taken the shape of a dragon. His aura was extremely majestic. He said plainly, Son, the ancient kingdom of Dragon only has one immortality herb, and it was passed down from our ancestors. How can we give it to the ancient kingdom of Phoenix? But Yu is being humiliated while kneeling in front of the Jun family. As her fiancé, how could I be willing to do that? Xiao Chun was furious. He clenched his fists so hard that his nails dug deep into his palms, causing excruciating pain. The news of Bai Yu kneeling before the palace of the Son of God of the Jun family spread like wildfire. While many were curious about the mysterious Son of God of the Jun family, they were also looking at the ancient kingdom of Dragon as a joke. His own fiancée was kneeling before another man's palace. What kind of humiliation was that? Furthermore, Bai Yu was his childhood sweetheart. How could Xiao Chun tolerate such humiliation? Son, you need to be patient. I have my own considerations regarding the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. The emperor of the Azure Dragon country said plainly. What's so great about that son of God of the Jun family? He's bullying people just because of his background. How could he bully a girl? Is he even human? Xiao Chun rebuked angrily. He did not even think about what Bai Yu had done wrong. How could his fiancée have done anything wrong? It must be that Jun Xiaoyao's fault. Shut up. Don't talk nonsense about this. Leave now. The June family is not someone you have the right to criticize, the emperor of the Azure Dragon country said with a frown. Xiao Chun gritted his teeth and walked out of the hall. Just you wait. What's so great about that son of God of the June family? I'll go to the June family to bring you back after I've mastered that move and teach that son of God a lesson. Xiao Chun thought to himself as he rubbed the Panlong ring on his finger. This coiling dragon ring had been passed down to him by his late mother. A few years ago, the coiling dragon ring began to transmit powerful techniques to him, as well as pure magic power. It was because of that Xiao Chun was able to become as powerful as he was today. With the Panlong ring left behind by my mother, I'll be able to trample even that son of God of the June family. Chapter 16. In a bedchamber in the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. The king of Phoenix country was lying on his bed, surrounded by alchemists and imperial physicians from the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. However, none of them were able to do anything about the king's illness. The king's illness was caused when he went to a secret realm with the king of Azure Dragon country to explore several years ago. He was injured by a 9-demons snake demon, an ancient beast that was comparable to a saint. The venom of a 9-demons snake demon was so potent that even a saint would have a hard time resisting it. It was even more so for a quasi-saint like the king of Phoenix country. So, what should we do now? The princess went to the June family, and not only did she fail to get the elixir of immortality, she was humiliated instead. What else can we do? We can't just go looking for trouble with the June family. Wouldn't that be suicide? The alchemists and imperial physicians, as well as the ministers of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, shook their heads and sighed. The clan of the ancients was not something they could afford to mess with. As such, even when they heard that Baiyu, or had been humiliated to the point of kneeling, the ancient kingdom of Phoenix had no intention of settling the score. The king of Phoenix country, who was lying on his bed, coughed even harder when he heard that. His face looked defeated. However, at that moment, a guard rushed in from outside the door and hurriedly reported, "Your Majesty, there is an esteemed guest in the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, requesting an audience with you." One of the ministers heard that and immediately flung his sleeve, yelling angrily, "You blind fool! Can't you see the condition of His Majesty's body right now? How dare you disturb His Majesty?" As soon as the minister finished speaking, a woman's delicate voice was heard from the door of the hall. "The king of Phoenix country is not terminally ill yet, is he? If that is the case, why can't he see you? Who is it that has a death wish?" The minister's face was filled with anger. "How dare you yell at our young lady? How dare you?" An elderly figure appeared. With a flick of his sleeves, a majestic quasi-sage cultivation erupted from him. PFFDT. The minister spat out blood right away and was sent flying. Everyone from the ancient kingdom of Phoenix in the hall froze right away. Their legs trembled, and they were extremely terrified. The aura of a quasi-saint. Even the most powerful king of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was only a quasi-saint. Everyone's eyes trembled as they looked. An old woman in hemp garments walked in with an indifferent look on her face. Behind him was a beautiful woman in palace attire. Her long golden hair draped over her shoulders. Her hair was soft and supple, and her snow-white face was sparkling and translucent like jade. They were June Linglong and Grandma Hua. She is the noble daughter of the June family. Some of the ministers were shocked. June Linglong was quite famous in the outside world, so they recognized her at a glance. As for the official who had scolded them earlier, blood was flowing from the corner of his mouth. His eyes were filled with fear as he collapsed to the ground, unable to get up. "Ahem, I didn't expect the noble daughter of the June family to come. Is she here to denounce me?" On the bed, the vermilion bird king struggled to get up, his face showing signs of exhaustion. Not long ago, there was news that Baiyu had offended the son of God of the June family and was forced to kneel outside the bedchamber. And now, the June family had arrived. If they weren't here to condemn him, then what were they here for? As soon as those words were said, everyone from the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird in the hall clenched their teeth and felt fear in their hearts. If the June family wanted to wipe out the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, it wouldn't have taken them much effort. The Vermilion Bird King had accepted his fate, so he remained calm. Is the Son of God the kind of devil who would wipe out entire families at the drop of a hat? You should be thanking the Son of God for his mercy. June Linglong covered her mouth and smiled faintly. Huh. The Vermilion Bird King and the others were all confused. So the June family wasn't here to condemn him? June Linglong stepped forward and brushed her hand across the void ring. Suddenly, purple clouds surged and the fragrance of herbs filled the air. A herb that looked like a qilin appeared before everyone's eyes. That is, the immortality herb. Everyone from the ancient kingdom of Phoenix stared with their eyes wide open and found it hard to breathe. The Vermilion Bird King's face was also filled with shock. Every immortality herb that was born would cause a commotion in the Huangtian mystic realm. And now, June Linglong was able to take out an immortality herb so easily. They were all shocked, as if they were country bumpkins who had just seen a mountain of gold. Granny Hua saw the reaction of the people from the ancient kingdom of Phoenix, and a look of disdain appeared in her old eyes. King of Phoenix, you have two choices now. Submit to Lord Son of God, and you will get the immortality herb. If you don't agree, then you are on your own, June Linglong said plainly. She was humble before June Xiaoyao, but now she had reverted to the temperament of a noble daughter of the June family in front of outsiders. The faces of the officials of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix changed. They understood the meaning behind June Linglong's words. She meant submitting to the Son of God of the June family, not the June family. The difference between the two was huge. Submitting to the June family of the ancients was not unacceptable to the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. After all, there were still many top-notch orthodoxies who were vassals of the June family. But if they were to only submit to June Xiaoyao, that would be rather dishonorable for a top-notch orthodoxy. You don't want to? Do you know what an honor it is to be able to submit to Lord Son of God? June Linglong raised her eyebrows, and her expression turned cold. The King of Phoenix looked conflicted, but he eventually sighed and said, I agree. Please thank the Son of God of the June family for me. I just hope that he will not make things difficult for you. At this point, did the King of Phoenix have any other choice? Don't worry, Lord Son of God will only punish by you slightly. He will not do anything to her, June Linglong said plainly. She handed the immortality herb of the qilin to the King of Phoenix. The Vermilion Bird King took the elixir of immortality with trembling hands. After all, who would want to die if they could live? Let alone the king of a nation. Focus on improving your cultivation. This immortality herb will not only heal your injuries, but it will also help you improve. You will be more useful to Lord Son of God then, June Linglong warned. Hearing June Linglong's words, all the ministers were speechless. Wasn't it obvious that he was treating the Vermilion Bird Nation's ruler like a tool? I understand. The King of Phoenix nodded. He did not show any dissatisfaction. Instead, his eyes were filled with excitement. Above the demi-saint were the saints. With the immortality herb of the qilin, he might be able to break through to the saint stage. Remember, this is a favor bestowed upon you by Lord Son of God. If you dare to have any thoughts of betrayal. June Linglong's tone was extremely cold. She was still using the carrot and stick method to perfection. Of course, from now on, Lord Son of God is the true master of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. The King of Phoenix said respectfully. Offending the Son of God of the June family was tantamount to offending the June family. Although the ancient kingdom of Phoenix was a top-notch force, it was just a slightly bigger ant in front of the June family. Good that you understand. June Linglong and Granny Hua turned around and left. The ancient kingdom of Phoenix was considered to have completely submitted to June Xiaoyao, becoming his vassal force. June Xiaoyao would be able to have better control over the ancient kingdom of Phoenix after Bai Yuer was properly trained. Several months passed. June Xiaoyao stood up in the Heavenly Emperor Palace with a faint smile on his face. It's about time. That Bai Yuer has been kneeling for a year. It's time to train her. At the same time, a Jiao dragon chariot took to the air within the ancient kingdom of Dragon and headed for the June family. The person inside the chariot was none other than the eldest prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon, Xiao Chun. That move has been mastered. It's time to bring Uter back. There's also that son of God of the June family. If I were to challenge him and defeat him, my name would be known throughout the Huangtian mystic realm. The June family would not be so shameless as to make things difficult for a junior like me. Xiao Qin's lips curled into a confident smile. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Xiao Chun had barged into the June family all by himself, saved the beauty in his arms, and trampled on the son of God of the June family, making his name known everywhere. Weren't all the protagonists in biographies and novels like that? Chapter 17. At the entrance of the heavenly Emperor Palace, Bai Yu'er was still kneeling on the ground. She had not gotten up for an entire year. Her red feather robe was covered in dust. Her once snow-white cheeks had lost all color. She looked pale and weak. Although Bai Yu'er was a proud daughter of the heavens and had the protection of the divine fire of the vermilion bird, kneeling for an entire year without eating or drinking still made her very weak. For the past year, Jun Xiaoyao had entered the heavenly emperor palace many times, but he had never looked at her in the eye. As time passed, Bai Yu'er's heart sank to the bottom of the valley. She felt that Jun Xiaoyao would never forgive her. This meant that there was no way she could get the elixir of immortality from Jun Xiaoyao, let alone save her father. Due to Jun Linglong's instructions, the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird did not inform Bai Yu'er that the Emperor of Vermilion Bird had obtained the elixir of immortality. Bai Yu'er still thought that there was no hope for her anymore. She felt as if she had sunk into a bottomless ocean. She was about to suffocate, and her crimson eyes were filled with despair. At that moment, faint footsteps were heard. Bai Yu'er looked up instinctively, and her breathing almost stopped. The figure that she had been thinking about day and night was really walking toward her. Jun Xiaoyao was dressed in a robe whiter than snow. His skin was glowing with a divine light. A year had passed. Jun Xiaoyao was 9 years old. His body had grown taller, and his facial features looked like they were carved by the heavens. He was starting to look handsome. His expression was calm as he walked toward Bai Yu'er. Jun Linglong followed behind him. "Greetings, Lord Son of God." Bai Yu'er's expression was one of surprise and surprise. After a whole year, this day had finally come. Jun Xiaoyao sized Bai Yu'er up. She had lost a lot of weight, but she did look like she was sincerely remorseful. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't say anything and just looked at her indifferently. Seeing this, Bai Yu'er gritted her teeth and kowtowed 3 times to Jun Xiaoyao. "Lord Son of God, Yu'er knows her mistake. Please forgive Yu'er this time." Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently, "It's good that you know your mistake. Get up. After all, I'm not a demon." Jun Linglong grumbled to herself after hearing that. If you're not a demon, why did you make him kneel there for a whole year? He had even taken out the elixir of immortality and kept it from Bai Yu'er, forcing her to continue kneeling. What an old demon. "Thank you, Lord Son of God." Bai Yu'er struggled to get to her feet. Her legs were numb, and she swayed weakly. Upon seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao flicked his finger and a top-grade Saint pill fell into Bai Yu'er's hand. Bai Yu'er felt even more flattered. A top-grade Saint pill could fetch a sky-high price in the outside world, but Jun Xiaoyao gave it to her so casually. For a moment, Bai Yu'er did not feel any resentment toward Jun Xiaoyao. Instead, she felt grateful. She took the Saint pill and began to recover her strength. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a sneer. He was very familiar with the trick of giving a candy with a whip. The Saint pill's effect was amazing, and Bai Yu'er's weakness was quickly swept away. However, when she thought of the seriously ill Vermilion Bird King, she clenched her fists and found it hard to speak. It was a pleasant surprise to be forgiven by Jun Xiaoyao. How could she ask Jun Xiaoyao to take out the elixir of immortality again? Thinking of this, Bai Yu'er took a deep breath and bowed to Jun Xiaoyao. "Thank you, Lord Son of God, for your forgiveness. Yu'er will take her leave now." Bai Yu'er sighed in her heart. In the end, she failed to bring back the elixir of immortality. At that moment, Jun Linglong chuckled and said, "Bai Yu'er, don't you want the elixir of immortality anymore?" Bai Yu'er smiled bitterly when she heard that. "I'm lucky enough to be forgiven by Lord Son of God. I wouldn't dare ask for more." "Then why don't you contact the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird? June Linglong's eyes sparkled as she asked. Bai Yuer was slightly stunned. She then took out a jade scroll and sent a message. The ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird sent a message as well. The June family sent us the elixir of immortality some time ago. It's all a gift from Lord Son of God. Not only has the king recovered from his injuries, but he's also training in seclusion to break through to a higher level. It's all a gift from Lord Son of God. The news made Bai Yuer's mind go blank in an instant. She was so excited that her face turned red. She was in disbelief. Lord Son of God, it's you. Bai Yuer's eyes were burning with excitement as she looked at June Xiaoyao. Her voice was choked with sobs. This Son of God told me that I'm not some devil. June Xiaoyao smiled faintly. At that moment, June Xiaoyao's silhouette was deeply engraved in Bai Yuer's heart. She seemed to have taken the shape of June Xiaoyao from the inside out. June Xiaoyao's imprint was so deeply engraved in her heart that it would be difficult to erase it for the rest of her life. She felt as if she was a person who had fallen into deep despair, and all her hopes were suddenly realized. That hope was brought to her by June Xiaoyao. Yuer is willing to serve Lord Son of God for the rest of my life. I'll be your slave or servant. I dare not disobey you. May I be struck by lightning if I violate this oath. Bai Yuer knelt before June Xiaoyao and said resolutely. If she had been begging for forgiveness before, then she was now sincerely pledging allegiance to June Xiaoyao. At that moment, a voice filled with anger was heard from outside the gates of the June residence. Where is the Son of God of the June family? What's the point of bullying a weak woman? Fight me if you have the guts. That voice was like a thunderclap that shook the world. Many members of the June family were alerted. A guard of the June family walked up to June Xiaoyao and reported, Son of God, there's a young man outside the gate who is being presumptuous. He should be someone from the ancient kingdom of Dragon. It seems that this fiancé of yours still doesn't know his place. June Xiaoyao sneered in his mind. He said faintly, Let him in. I'll take care of this. Yes, sir. The guard excused himself. Bai Yuer, who was still kneeling on the ground, looked rather pale. June Xiaoyao had just forgiven her, and now her fiancé had come to provoke her. Wasn't this just ruining things for her? At that moment, Bai Yuer actually felt a little resentful toward her fiancé, Xiao Chun. Lord Son of God, Bai Yuer panicked and tried to explain herself. It's fine. June Xiaoyao waved his hand. A moment later, a handsome young man wearing a long robe with an azure dragon on it arrived. When he saw Bai Yuer, who was kneeling before June Xiaoyao, his eyes immediately widened and a murderous aura emanated from him. No man would be able to accept his fiancée kneeling before another man of the opposite sex. Yuer, get up. How dare this man push you like this? Xiao Chun shouted angrily. Xiao Chun, shut up. How dare you disrespect Lord Son of God? Bai Yuer immediately reprimanded him. Xiao Chun was stunned and looked at Bai Yuer in disbelief. Yuer, I'm here to save you. Why are you speaking up for him? Xiao Chun was puzzled. Enough. I knelt on my own accord. I'm more than happy that Lord Son of God is willing to forgive me. What are you doing here? Bai Yuer said coldly. At first, she had a good impression of Xiao Chun, her childhood sweetheart. However, the ancient kingdom of Dragon went back on their word and refused to give the ancient kingdom of Phoenix the elixir of immortality. She had asked Xiao Chun for help before, and Xiao Chun had promised to give it to her. However, there was still no sign of the elixir of immortality. If it had not been for June Xiaoyao giving her the elixir of immortality, her father would have been seriously ill and dying. Between June Xiaoyao and Xiao Chun, who was Bai Yuer indebted to? Yuer, why would you think that? Did he force you to do this? Chapter 18. Bai Yuer felt more and more disappointed after seeing Xiao Chen's brainless rage. One would never know if they were not compared to each other. She used to think that Xiao Chun was an excellent man. However, compared to June Xiaoyao, Xiao Chun looked like a loach in the mud. He was an eyesore no matter how she looked at him. I can't believe that someone like him is my fiancé. Bai Yuer shook her head. She then said, I did all of this willingly. Just leave, Xiao Chun. What Bai Yuer said was like a heavy blow to Xiao Chen's heart. He was so angry that his chest heaved. He glared at Jun Xiaoyao with a cold expression and said, "You're Jun Xiaoyao, aren't you? It must be you. What kind of magic potion did you feed your?" Xiao Chen looked like a raging lion. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, looked indifferent at the moment. He stared at Xiao Chen with a peculiar look in his eyes. To be more precise, he was staring at the Panlong ring on Xiao Chen's finger. Because Jun Xiaoyao was trained in the visualization of chaotic divinity grindstone, his soul was far more sensitive than common people. Jun Xiaoyao sensed a different aura and soul fluctuation from the Panlong ring. No way, this is what he's doing? Jun Xiaoyao looked surprised. The old man in the ring betrayed his fiancée. It was still the same formula and the same feeling. It was just that their positions had been switched. Interesting. Is this Xiao Chen trying to slap me in the face? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Bai Yuer continued. That's enough, Xiao Chen. I've made up my mind. I will serve Lord Son of God for the rest of my life as a slave. Let's call off the engagement between us. Jun Xiaoyao was the only one in Bai Yuer's heart at the moment. Jun Xiaoyao was her master for the rest of her life. As for Xiao Chen, the little bit of friendship she had with him had been worn down by the repeated disappointments and lies. Xiao Chen promised to give her the immortality potion, but he never fulfilled his promise. No, how could you do this? Xiao Chen was trembling all over. His fiancée had been snatched away. Xiao Chen felt that he had been made a cuckold. He even thought that Bai Yuer had sold her body to earn Jun Xiaoyao's favor. So that's how it is. You slut, using your own body to exchange for the elixir of immortality? Xiao Chen's heart sank to the bottom of the valley, and he decided to shed all pretenses of cordiality. He was so angry that he laughed, and his expression was cold and sarcastic. He could not bear the betrayal of his woman. Bai Yuer was also stunned. She did not expect that Xiao Chen, who had always been calm and resolute, would say something like that. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was not surprised at all. He was a protagonist, after all. Those who followed him would prosper, and those who opposed him would perish. Would anyone who betrayed the main character have a good ending? However, Jun Xiaoyao knew that if he were in Xiao Chen's shoes, he would have killed Bai Yuer without any hesitation. Holy Mother? There's no such thing. He would only do things more ruthlessly than Xiao Chen. Unfortunately, Bai Yuer was now his pawn and slave, and there was no way he would allow Xiao Chen to do anything to her. Furthermore, he could take the opportunity to put on a show and make Bai Yuer fall for him again. I can't believe that you are Bai Yuer's fiancée. How dare you slander her like that? Even an outsider like me feels bitterly disappointed for her. Jun Xiaoyao stepped out and stood in front of Bai Yuer, shaking his head and sighing. Lord Son of God, Bai Yuer's heart was touched, and her crimson eyes became misty. She never thought that Jun Xiaoyao would stand up for her. At that moment, Bai Yuer's feelings toward Jun Xiaoyao were mixed with some indescribable emotions aside from respect and admiration. In Xiao Chen's eyes, the look in her eyes was one of pure affection. Damn you, you slut. Xiao Chen was so angry that he felt as if his internal organs were burning. Bai Yuer was ogling Jun Xiaoyao right in front of him. It was no longer a cuckold. It was a grassland in Hulunber. Jun Xiaoyao, do you dare to fight me fairly? Xiao Chen shouted. The only way to solve the problem was to completely crush Jun Xiaoyao right in front of Bai Yuer and trample him underfoot. That was the only way to vent the anger in Xiao Chen's heart. He wanted to see Bai Yuer regretting her actions and kneeling before him in repentance. I'm only 8 years old, and you're already 15 or 16. Fair fight, huh? Jun Xiaoyao smirked sarcastically. Xiao Chen's expression was rather unnatural, but he still said stubbornly, so what? You're the son of God of the Jun family, and you have access to countless resources. It's fair. Or are you afraid to fight me? Xiao Chen put on a provocative look. During this period of time, he had finally mastered the martial arts imparted to him by the coiling dragon ring. He was confident that among his peers, there were not many who could compete with him. The same was true for the son of God of the Jun family. Very well, let's go to the combat arena. Jun Xiaoyao put his hands behind his back and stepped out. There was nothing much to say at this point. This kind of protagonist who felt so good about himself should be slapped to wake him up. Bai Yu'er and Jun Linglong followed, right behind him. Jun Linglong looked at Xiao Chen with a hint of sarcasm and pity in her eyes. Jun Xiaoyao defeated Jun Zhangjian, the 10th rank, when he was only 3 years old. Even Jun Linglong had no idea how powerful he was now. Xiao Chen's eyes were burning with jealousy as he looked at Jun Xiaoyao, who was accompanied by 2 beautiful women. If I had been born in a clan of the ancients, my achievements would definitely be on par with Jun Xiaoyao's. But he would never expect that I have the help of the Panlong ring, Xiao Chen thought to himself. Jun Xiaoyao and Xiao Chen soon arrived at the combat arena. Their arrival attracted the attention of many disciples of the Jun family. It's Lord Son of God. What is he doing here at the combat arena? I heard that there's an idiot who wants to challenge Sir Deity. Is it that prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon? One idiot. That's right. It's already his honor that the divine child is willing to lower himself to fight with him. Along the way, almost everyone from the Jun family mocked and ridiculed Xiao Chen, looking down on him. Xiao Chen saw it all and clenched his fists. The protagonists in those legendary novels were also looked down upon, but they were able to turn the tables in the end. A bunch of snobs. So what if you were born in a clan of the ancients? I'll let you know what it means to be a man who can conquer fate. Xiao Chen's lips curled into a proud smile. Jun Xiaoyao and Xiao Chen stood in a ring. Jun Linglong, Bai Yu'er, and many other members of the Jun family were watching. In the shadows, Jun Zhantian and a few other elders were also secretly observing. They were not worried that Jun Xiaoyao would lose. Instead, he wanted to use the battle to see just how powerful Jun Xiaoyao actually was. All right, you can make your move now. Jun Xiaoyao stood in the ring with his hands behind his back, looking calm. Humph, if I make my move, you might not have a chance to fight back. Xiao Chen's lips curled into a cold smirk. He was a genius of the divinity stage. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was only 8 years old. How strong could he possibly be? Is that so? All right then. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. Chapter 19. Golden qi and blood surged around Jun Xiaoyao like huge waves. 20,000 granules of the giant elephant were awakened in his body. Indeed, in the past few years, Jun Xiaoyao had cultivated the divine elephant overpowering divine elephant. He had awakened 20,000 granules of the giant elephant from 1,000. That meant that Jun Xiaoyao was capable of exerting 100 million caddies of force with a single strike. That was so terrifying that he could shatter the stars in the sky with a single slap. The qi and blood in Jun Xiaoyao's body surged. The vigorous golden magical power turned into a huge golden hand and pressed down. 200 million pounds of force was enough to crush the sky. Xiao Chen was so shocked that his face turned pale when he felt the shocking power. His expression changed drastically. Jun Xiaoyao did not make a move, but when he made a move, the world shook and the universe changed. That huge golden magical power hand was like the hand of a god, pressing down on Xiao Chen. How is this possible? Xiao Chen could not help but roar. However, he was still quite capable. He did not just sit there and wait for his death. His magical power surged. Sky-breaking punch of the Azure Dragon. Xiao Chen gathered his magical power on the tip of his fist and punched out. With a dragon's roar, the shadow of an azure dragon seemed to rush out with Xiao Chen's punch. However, it was still useless. Rumble. It was as if the big stars collided with each other like thunder. The giant golden hand instantly annihilated the azure dragon's silhouette with an unstoppable force. Then, it continued to bombard Xiao Chen. PFFDT. Xiao Chen felt as if he had been kicked by an ancient giant elephant. He spat out blood. His whole body was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. He then fell heavily to the ground. Dead silence throughout the combat arena. Many of the Jun family's disciples looked at the scene with some astonishment. Although they knew that Xiao Chen had overestimated himself by challenging Jun Xiaoyao, they did not expect that the situation would be so overwhelming. This was no longer a competition, but a blatant suppression, a complete and utter abuse. My goodness, Lord Son of God, is already at the 9th level of the Divine Palace. Doesn't that mean he's about to break through to the true spirit realm? This is truly terrifying. That Shao Chun may not be much, but he is still a rather famous genius in the outside world. I can't believe that he was sent flying by Lord Son of God with just a single palm strike. Don't you guys forget that Lord Son of God is only 8 years old, while Shao Chun is already 15 or 16 years old. He can't even beat Lord Son of God, who is twice his age. I feel ashamed for him. After a brief moment of astonishment, there was an uproar. Countless sarcastic remarks were directed at Shao Chun. Even Bai Yu covered her red lips with her hand as her crimson eyes widened. Although she knew that Jun Xiaoyao would win, she didn't expect him to win so easily. Shao Chun was completely defenseless before him. The way Bai Yu looked at Jun Xiaoyao became even more radiant. How is this possible? How could this be? Even Shao Chun himself, who was lying paralyzed in the crater, was somewhat dumbfounded. Logically speaking, he should have been the one to turn the tables and slap Jun Xiaoyao in the face, so that Bai Yu would regret it for the rest of her life. Why was he the one who was beaten down instead? I'll let you fight first because I wanted to give you a chance to struggle so that it wouldn't be too boring. But now, it seems that I've overestimated you. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and sounded disappointed. He thought that Shao Chun would be able to bring him some fun and challenge. Yet, Shao Chun was still so vulnerable. Don't you get cocky, Jun Xiaoyao. Our duel is not over yet. Shao Chun's face turned red due to embarrassment and anger after hearing what Jun Xiaoyao said. It was an unchanging truth that a protagonist would become more powerful after gaining more anger. Shao Chun was the same at the moment. He struggled to get to his feet and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. A terrifying dragon aura was brewing and rising from his body. Shao Chun's cultivation level began to climb steadily. The 2nd level of Divinity Palace. The 3rd level of Divinity Palace. The 4th level of Divinity Palace. The 5th level of Divinity Palace. He was at the 6th level of the Divinity Realm. Shao Chun's cultivation surged by 5 levels in a short period of time. The scene was seen by the members of the Jun family around, who were rather surprised. Yo, this prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon has some tricks up his sleeve. Jun Zhantian and the other elders of the Jun family also saw what happened in the air. Jun Zhantian was slightly surprised and said, this is interesting. This kid has dragon aura around him, which means that he is quite lucky. He is a good seedling. It's a pity that he messed with your grandson. I'm afraid he won't end well, another elder said with a smile. So what if he has dragon aura around him? Jun Xiaoyao had the sacred body of the ancients, which was born with 10 shackles broken. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows after seeing Shao Chun's state. So, he's cheating right in front of me, huh? Jun Xiaoyao was a cheater himself, so he was more than familiar with things like using cheats. Cheating right in front of a cheater was like showing off in front of an expert. Jun Xiaoyao, you didn't expect this, did you? Do you really think that you are invincible? Watch me beat you with one move. Heavenly Seal of the Blue Dragon. After Shao Chun's cultivation had skyrocketed, the dragon aura all over his body rose. It seemed to have condensed into a huge seal that could suppress the heavens in the void. That was the martial arts technique that he had been practicing for a long time. That move was originally Shao Chun's trump card, which he had not planned to use. However, Jun Xiaoyao's strength was beyond his expectations. As such, he had no choice but to use his trump card. Jun Xiaoyao, get on your knees. Shao Chun leaped into the air and controlled the heavenly seal of the blue dragon, pressing it down on Jun Xiaoyao. He wanted to make Jun Xiaoyao kneel on the ground. Jun Xiaoyao looked up casually and looked at Shao Chun, who looked very excited and wanted to take him down. How sad. He shook his head casually and raised his hand. Endless golden power surged like an ocean and condensed into divine weapons. Sabers, spears, swords, halberds, axes, hooks, tridents. Tens of thousands of golden divine weapons gathered around Jun Xiaoyao. At that moment, he looked like the master of all weapons, the king of all divine weapons. That was the ultimate technique of the Jun family, the army attack tactics. Go! Jun Xiaoyao pushed out his hand, and tens of thousands of divine weapons gathered into a torrent of divine weapons that could split the sky and earth, rushing toward Xiao Chun. How is this possible? Xiao Chun was shocked. He gritted his teeth and pressed down with the seal. Boom! The two collided, and the universe shook. The heavenly seal of the blue dragon was shattered by the thousands of divine weapons. Xiao Chun's face was pale. He used his movement technique and hurriedly retreated, but he was still hit by some of the divine weapons. PFFTT. Blood splattered everywhere. Xiao Chun's shoulders, thighs, and waist were all wounded. The wounds were so deep that his bones were visible. Blood spurted out. His body fell from the sky and hit the ground heavily. His hair was disheveled, and his body was covered in blood. He looked very pathetic. Is that all? Jun Xiaoyao tilted his head slightly and looked at Xiao Chun. PFFTT. Xiao Chun was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood when he heard that. Humiliation. Extreme humiliation. Xiao Chun's eyes were bloodshot. He saw Bai Yu'er from the corner of his eye. She looked disappointed, but there was also a hint of pity and sympathy. That made Xiao Chun, who had a strong sense of self-esteem, feel like his heart was being pierced by needles. There's always someone better than you out there. Before the Son of God, you have to lie down even if you're a dragon or a tiger. Chapter 20. With the help of the system, his talents were unparalleled, and his background was invincible. What Jun Xiaoyao wanted was to dominate the era. All of the geniuses and protagonists would only be able to play second fiddle to him. It was even more so for Xiao Chun, who had a bit of luck. Xiao Chun clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. To be honest, he never expected to be defeated so thoroughly and in such a sorry state. A thick feeling of humiliation brewed in his heart. However, he was unable to say anything arrogant anymore. That was because facts spoke louder than words. Xiao Chun, that's enough. Given Lord Son of God's powers, he could easily kill you. He has already shown you mercy. Bai Yu'er stood up and said. She had been so disappointed in Xiao Chun that she had even annulled the engagement. However, they were childhood sweethearts after all. While they were not very close, there was still some affection between them. However, that was all there was to it. Shut up, UB*TCH. Do I need Jun Xiaoyao to show me mercy? Xiao Chun yelled furiously. Bai Yu'er meant well, but that only aggravated Xiao Chun even more. His eyes, which were about to be filled with dejection, were now filled with anger and indignation. What a dumb girl. She's trying to make me hate her. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. However, that was exactly what he wanted. That was because Jun Xiaoyao had another plan in mind. Fine. I guess you took my kindness for granted. Bai Yu'er's face turned gloomy as Xiao Chun kept calling her AB*TCH. The last bit of affection she had for Xiao Chun was gone. Xiao Chun's chest rose and fell as he breathed heavily. He knew that there was no way he could defeat Jun Xiaoyao that day. Xiao Chun clenched his fists so hard that his nails dug deep into his palms, causing him excruciating pain. He glanced at Bai Yu'er and Jun Xiaoyao coldly and said, Jun Xiaoyao, don't be so arrogant. Life is full of ups and downs. Don't think you can bully a young man just because he's poor. We will fight again in 3 years. Xiao Chun said with determination and solemnity, which went well with his handsome face, which was stained with blood. This made some of the girls from the Jun family view him in a new light. At this moment, Xiao Chun's indomitable will was indeed quite imposing. Xiao Chun turned around and dragged his injured body out of the arena step by step, leaving bloody footprints on the ground. Even Bai Yu'er's heart was slightly shaken. She seemed to be able to see Xiao Chun soaring into the heavens in the future. However, at this moment, a cold voice sounded. Hold on. Xiao Chun stopped dead in his tracks when he heard that. Did I say you could leave? Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands clasped behind his back, a playful look on his face. Did he think he could leave peacefully after saying a famous quote and leaving behind a coquettish back view? Xiao Chun was being a little too simple-minded. What do you want to do? Xiao Chun turned around, his face stiff. As the son of God of the Jun family, Shouldn't Jun Xiaoyao magnanimously let him go and wait for him to slap his face 3 years later? Why didn't he follow the script? Jun Xiaoyao smirked coldly and said, "You said such harsh words to the son of God in the Jun family, and then you want to leave peacefully. What do you take the Jun family for? And what do you take me, the son of God, for? Then what do you want to do? Are you afraid that I'll beat you 3 years later?" Xiao Qin's eyes flashed with panic, but he forced himself to stay calm. Don't try to goad me, but I have no intention of killing you right now," Jun Xiaoyao said with a faint smile. "Then what do you want to do?" Xiao Qin was slightly relieved when he heard that, but his eyes were still full of vigilance. "I can spare you the death penalty, but I can't escape punishment. I've taken a liking to your dragon qi." Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand as soon as he finished speaking. The golden spirit sea inside his body churned and surged, forming a huge hand and grabbing at Xiao Qin. "You despicable bastard." Xiao Qin's expression changed drastically, and he turned around to run. However, he was still knocked down by the golden hand with a single slap. Jun Xiaoyao then grabbed at the air, and a dragon's roar was heard from Xiao Qin's body. Jun Xiaoyao then grabbed a semi-illusory shadow of a green dragon. That was the dragon qi inside Xiao Qin. "No, my dragon qi." Xiao Qin's eyes were bloodshot as he screamed in frenzy. "Shut up." Jun Xiaoyao slapped him again. There was a loud rumble, accompanied by the sound of bones cracking. More than half of Xiao Qin's bones were broken, and he spat out blood as if it was free. You crippled all of my meridians." Xiao Qin's face was pale, and he gritted his teeth so hard that they were about to break. Jun Xiaoyao did not kill him, but he did cripple him. As such, he would not be able to defeat Jun Xiaoyao, even if he had 300 or even 3,000 years, let alone 3 years. "Jun Xiaoyao." Xiao Qin spat out the words one by one, and his eyes were filled with hatred and anger. The surrounding disciples of the Jun family also shuddered slightly, and they felt a chill in their hearts. It was the first time they had seen Jun Xiaoyao's ruthless methods. "Zhantian, Xiaoyao is really swift in his actions," an elder who was hiding in the void said with a smile. "That's good. The more ruthless my grandson is, the more relieved I will be," Jun Zhantian said with a smile. Not only did they not think that Jun Xiaoyao's actions were inappropriate, but they also thought that it was normal. When the Emperor's Road opened in the future, there would be crueler things, and this level of things was nothing. In the combat arena, after Jun Xiaoyao obtained the dragon qi, he did not hesitate and started to absorb it right in front of Xiao Qin. There was a continuous sound of explosions coming from inside his body. It was the sound of the granules of the giant elephant awakening. After absorbing more than half of the dragon qi, another 10,000 granules of the giant elephant were awakened in Jun Xiaoyao's body. At that moment, he had awakened 30,000 granules of the giant elephant, which was equivalent to 300 million caddies of strength, which was extremely terrifying. Not only that, but Jun Xiaoyao also found that the dragon qi was nourishing his body, making his sacred body of the ancients, which was already extremely powerful, even more powerful. Furthermore, there seemed to be a layer of azure light spreading under his skin, which could be turned into an inner armor made of dragon scales to protect him when needed. Not bad. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. He then put the remaining half of the dragon qi, which had not been digested, into Baiyuer's body. "Lord Son of God," Baiyuer was shocked, not expecting Jun Xiaoyao to do something like that. "You have the divine fire of the vermilion bird in your body, which should complement the azure dragon qi," Jun Xiaoyao said plainly. He did that to win over people's hearts. He still needed Baiyuer to manage the ancient kingdom of vermilion bird for him in the future, so her talents could not be too weak. "Thank you, Lord Son of God." Baiyu was so touched that there were even tears in her eyes. That favor was like giving her a new life. Xiao Qin, who had witnessed that scene, could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. He was furious. He was so furious that he felt like his organs were on fire and his organs were about to be crushed. Jun Xiaoyao refined his dragon qi right in front of him and even gave it to his ex-fiancée. His ex-fiancée, Baiyu, even went as far as to lick Jun Xiaoyao's boots like a bitch. That made Xiao Chun feel like he was about to pass out from anger. Jun Xiaoyao saw that and said earnestly, "Don't be angry, Xiao Chun. I took your dragon chi and crippled your cultivation for your own good." Every main character had to go through all kinds of hardships and hardships. If their cultivation was not crippled, they would be embarrassed to call themselves main characters. From that perspective, Jun Xiaoyao was indeed helping Xiao Chun with good intentions. Chapter 21. He looked at Xiao Chun, who had fainted out of anger. All the disciples of the Jun family in the combat arena shuddered. Jun Xiaoyao was not only strong, but he was also good at talking. He had made Xiao Chun so angry that he almost passed away on the spot. Jun Xiaoyao sighed slightly, feeling a little speechless. What he said was indeed the truth. Generally speaking, people like Xiao Chun, who were blessed with luck, would usually explode after their cultivation was destroyed and their talents were taken away. They would have all kinds of adventures, and then they would grow and become invincible. Thinking about it this way, Jun Xiaoyao did have Xiao Chen's best interests at heart. "Throw him out of the gate." Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand and said. Soon, the guards of the Jun family came and dragged the unconscious Xiao Chen away. At that moment, Jun Zhantian's figure suddenly appeared out of thin air. "Grandpa." Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. He had long felt that Jun Zhantian and the other elders of the family were watching him from behind. "Xiaoyao, do you know that even a wildfire can't burn it out? It will grow again when the spring breeze blows?" Jun Zhantian looked serious. He was afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would develop the habit of being arrogant and underestimating the enemy. It was not a wise decision to let the enemy go like this. "Oh, don't worry, Grandpa. I have my own plans." Jun Xiaoyao smiled and said. Did Jun Xiaoyao not know the principle of cutting the weeds and eliminating the roots? But then again, Xiao Chun was like a leek to him now. He would harvest him when he needed him. Jun Xiaoyao had only harvested the dragon chi, which was far from draining the value of Xiao Chen's luck. Wouldn't it be better to harvest them one by one? When there was no more value to harvest in the end, Jun Xiaoyao would naturally swat the fly. "It's good that you have a plan in mind. This kind of small fry can't do anything. You still have a year to prepare," Jun Zhantian said. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. Jun Zhantian was referring to his 10-years-old banquet. When the time came, the Jun family would invite forces from all over the Huangtian mystic realm. It would definitely be a feast that would attract the attention of the world. Even Jun Xiaoyao's mother's family, the Jiang family of the remote antiquity, would send people over. His mother, Jiang Ro, had always wanted to push the Jiang family's precious daughter to Jun Xiaoyao. In addition, the Jun family would also announce his identity as Sequence Zero at his 10-years-old banquet. At that time, the Jun family would surely be shaken violently, and all the sequences would certainly react. Therefore, Jun Zhantian wanted Jun Xiaoyao to be prepared. "Grandpa, don't worry. I will never let you, Mother, the 18th ancestor, and the others down," Jun Xiaoyao said with certainty. He did not forget that he still had the chance to sign in at the Shui banquet. At that time, the reward he received might be of great help to his strength. "Of course, Grandpa believes in you." Jun Zhantian smiled with satisfaction. After the incident, Jun Xiaoyao returned to the Heavenly Emperor Palace, ready to completely refine the dragon aura. Bai Yuer stayed at the Heavenly Emperor Palace for the time being. She also received a small part of the dragon aura, and she had the divine fire of the phoenix. Bai Yuer's talent and strength would skyrocket. Most importantly, she was now loyal to Jun Xiaoyao. She was branded with Jun Xiaoyao from the inside out. Even if Jun Xiaoyao asked her to die, Bai Yuer would not hesitate. Compared to Jun Xiaoyao, who had gained a lot, Xiao Chen looked rather miserable at the moment. He slowly opened his eyes and found himself outside the gate of the Jun family's residence. Cough, cough. Xiao Chen struggled to get up. His body was covered in wounds, and there were also many internal injuries. His meridians were all destroyed, and his bones were broken. One could say that he was in an extremely miserable state. There were also many cultivators outside the gate of the Jun family's residence, watching the show. After all, Xiao Chun had entered the Jun family's residence in a very arrogant manner. It did not take long for him to be thrown out of the residence in such a sorry state. Is that prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon crippled? I think so. He's like a dog. It's his fault for messing with the son of God of the June family. His fiancée probably ran away as well. Serves him right. The cultivators who were watching the show all mocked and ridiculed Xiao Chun with looks of disdain. Xiao Chun clenched his fists and walked out step by step. When he was out of the sight of the crowd, Xiao Chun roared at the sky and punched the ancient tree in front of him. Damn you, Jun Xiaoyao. If I get the chance, I'll return the pain I suffered today to you 1,000 times over. While Xiao Chun was screaming, the blood on his body had unknowingly soaked the Panlong ring on his finger. Are all descendants of the ancient kingdom of Dragon as unambitious as you? Suddenly, an old voice was heard. Who is it? Xiao Chun looked around. However, in the next moment, his eyes fell on the Panlong ring on his finger. The ring suddenly flashed with a blue light. Then, an old man with white eyebrows wearing a blue dragon robe suddenly appeared in front of Xiao Chun. You are. Xiao Chun's eyes widened as he stared at the old man in front of him. There were 2 dragon horns on the old man's head. Xiao Chun felt like he had seen this old man somewhere before. Haha, have the descendant forgotten about me? The old man in the blue robe with dragon horns said with a smile. You are the founding Grand Master of the ancient kingdom of Dragon, Master Blue Dragon. Xiao Chun gasped as a thought suddenly flashed through his mind. He finally remembered. The old man looked exactly the same as the statue of the founding ancestor in the royal palace of the ancient kingdom of Dragon. As for the founding ancestor, Master Azure Dragon, according to the historical records, he was a quasi-supreme. He was half a step away from becoming a supreme being. That was a very powerful level. He was only 1 step away from becoming a supreme being. I am Xiao Chun, the eldest prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon. Greetings, great ancestor. Xiao Chun was trembling with excitement. He didn't expect the soul of the founding ancestor to reside in the Panlong ring among his mother's belongings. Sure enough, there was always a way out. Master Blue Dragon looked at Xiao Chun and said, I woke up a few years ago and realized that you were the son of the ancient kingdom of Dragon. I gave you all kinds of magic power and resources. I didn't expect that you would still lose to the son of God of the June family. Xiao Chun looked cold and resentful after hearing that. He said, Great ancestor, why didn't you just kill Jun Xiaoyao back then? Humph, how foolish. If I had done it back then, neither you nor I would have been able to walk out of the June family alive. Master Blue Dragon scolded coldly. He had always been satisfied with Xiao Chun's performance, but now Xiao Chun was confused. Great ancestor, you are a quasi-supreme being. Can't you intimidate the June family? Xiao Chun asked, unwilling to give up. Master Blue Dragon shook his head and said, Not to mention that I'm only 1/10 as powerful as I used to be. I couldn't do anything to the June family even at my peak. The clan of the ancients is not as simple as you think. Xiao Chun gritted his teeth and said, Then I won't be able to take revenge for the rest of my life. He had been crippled, and Master Blue Dragon couldn't help him. Don't be discouraged. You are the son of the ancient kingdom of Dragon. The ancient kingdom of Dragon still needs you in the future. I won't let you die so sadly, Master Blue Dragon said. Please help me, great ancestor. I am willing to pay any price. Xiao Chun said firmly. A gratified look appeared in Master Azure Dragon's eyes as he took out an azure scroll. Although your cultivation has been crippled, it is a blessing in disguise. This is the art of dragon transformation in Blue Heaven. I used to practice it, and I will teach it to you. The art of dragon transformation in Blue Heaven. Xiao Chun's eyes, which had been filled with despair, rekindled the fire of hope after hearing that. It was as if he had been revived, and he was full of fighting spirit. Jun Xiaoyao, your biggest mistake was being too arrogant and complacent. You let me live. Chapter 22. Seeing that Xiao Chun had regained his fighting spirit and confidence, Master Blue Dragon nodded in satisfaction. Such an indomitable character was the true son of the nation. By the way, you need to practice the spell of dragon transformation in Blue Heaven. At the same time, I also speculated that the secret treasure of Yuan Tian will appear in the next few years. Master Blue Dragon said. Yuan Tian Supreme? Is he a Supreme Master? Xiao Qin's eyes widened. That's right. Yuan Tian Supreme is extremely powerful and domineering. It is said that he once took several sets of ancient dragon bones from the Archean royalty, Master Blue Dragon said. Master Blue Dragon's eyes lit up when he talked about the ancient dragon bones. Archean royalty. Xiao Chun took a deep breath. That Yuan Tian Supreme is indeed a domineering person. He even dares to offend the Archean royalty. However, Xiao Chun immediately thought of the key. He said, Grand Ancestor, are you going to? Master Blue Dragon nodded and said, That's right. You need to find a supreme token of Yuan Tian, then find a chance to enter the secret treasure and take the ancient dragon bones. If you can get the ancient dragon bones, your spell of dragon transformation in Blue Heaven will definitely reach the peak. I can also use an ancient dragon bone to reconstruct my physical body. Xiao Qin clenched his fists. His eyes were full of fighting spirit. Don't worry, Grand Ancestor. I will go to the secret treasure of Yuan Tian and take the ancient dragon bones. And Jun Xiaoyao, and by Yuer, that be *TCH. Just you wait. Xiao Chun looked up to the sky and laughed. He finally saw the light of revenge. At the same time, in the heavenly emperor palace of the Jun family. Achoo! Jun Xiaoyao touched his nose. Someone is cursing me. Is it Xiao Chun? Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. According to the usual routine, he should have already obtained some treasures by now. He should be thinking about how to get back at Xiao Chun in the future. Xiao Chun, you gave me the dragon Qi and a fiancé this time. I wonder what you will give me next time. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. He actually hoped that there would be more geniuses like Xiao Chun there, the more the better. There were no farmers who died of exhaustion. Let's put the matter of Xiao Chun aside for now. I don't think he'll amount to anything in a few years. I'd better prepare for the 10-years-old banquet first. I need to do a closed-door training to make a breakthrough, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. After all, this was his first time appearing on the stage before the eyes of the various powers in the immortal realms. If he didn't perform well, it would be too degrading. When the news of Jun Xiaoyao going into seclusion spread, the entire Jun family was in an uproar. Heavens, Lord Son of God, is actually going into seclusion? As I recall, Lord Son of God has never gone into seclusion ever since he started cultivating, right? His cultivation speed is already so fast when he's not in closed-door cultivation. How fast would he be after closed-door cultivation? Will Lord Son of God break through to the true spirit realm? Sounds of discussion could be heard coming from all directions of the Jun residence. They were also very curious about Jun Xiaoyao, who never went into seclusion. If he came out of seclusion after a year, how powerful would his strength be? Amidst the curiosity and anticipation, a year slowly passed. During this year, the news of the Jun family holding a 10-years-old banquet for Jun Xiaoyao also began to spread in the Huangtian mystic realm. Many forces paid close attention to this. After all, the strange phenomenon of the reverence of 10,000 saints 10 years ago was too terrifying. Many big shots and old antiques were guessing what kind of nature-defying physique the mysterious Son of God of the Jun family had. The Son of God's father is the white-robed divine king, a taboo existence. I guess the Son of God's physique isn't too bad. That's right. The white-robed divine, King Jun Wuhui, is known to be the most likely person to become a great emperor in the late ancient era. He was even one of the people who touched the immortal path. Unfortunately, 10 years ago, many big shots of ancient forces were communicating in the void through their divine thoughts. In fact, they were also curious about how the Son of God of the Jun family, who was born with the glory of his father, would perform in his first appearance in the world. Hong State was one of the 3,000 mystical states of the Huangtian mystic realm. It was located in the territory of the Archean royalty, Zulong. Most of the 3,000 mystical continents were occupied by various factions. For example, the ancient kingdom of Phoenix occupied the entire Fire State. Hong State was only one of the more than 50 mystical states under Zulong's control. That's right, The far ancient royal family of the layer of Zulong alone owned more than 50 prefectures. The ancient kingdom of Phoenix only occupied one mystical state. One could imagine the difference between a first-rate force and the Archean royalty. However, the June family was even more terrifying. They occupied more than 100 mystical states, which was twice the size of Zulong's. The Emperor State was only the base of the June family. At this moment, in a big city in Hong State, many humanoid creatures of different shapes and sizes were coming and going. Some had black horns on their heads, some had wings on their backs, some had scales on their foreheads, and some had beast-like eyes. These creatures were all from the 10,000 ancient races of the mystic realm. The creatures of the Archean royalty were among them. In the territories of some human clans of the ancients and immortal dynasties, humans were the majority. In the territories of the Archean royalty, some races of the mystic realm, or strange creatures, there were more creatures of all races. Of course, the creatures of all races, including humans, lived in peace. On the streets of the city, many creatures were looking at a woman in a blue dress with a hood on her head. Although most of her face was covered, one could still tell that she was a human. Furthermore, she had a slim figure. It was not that there were no humans in the territories of the Archean royalty, but they were very rare. The woman in the blue dress raised her head slightly, revealing a charming face. She was none other than Lan Qingya, who was expelled from the June family. At this moment, her eyes were looking at a splendid tavern at the end of the road. It should be there. That lord will be gathering there. I want to leak the news that Jun Xiaoyao has the sacred body of the human race. Jun Xiaoyao, Jun Linglong, Lan Qingya, may not be able to take revenge on you, but someone else can. Lan Qingya's face flashed with deep hatred. After she was expelled from a Jun family, her situation was extremely miserable. She was used to living like a prince, and now she was living in the open, suffering desolation. Lan Qingya would not reflect on her own actions. She would only blame everything on Jun Xiaoyao and Jun Linglong. On the top floor of the splendid tavern, a group of creatures was gathering. Some had wings on their backs, some had scales on their bodies, and some were as strong as bears or tigers. At this moment, this group of creatures was surrounding one person like stars surrounding the moon. It was a young man dressed in a luxurious golden robe. His facial features were arrogant and unruly, and there were 2 dragon horns on his head. His eyes were like 2 big stars, shining with a cold light. Under his skin, golden dragon scales could be faintly seen. His aura was very breathtaking. This young man was one of the geniuses of Zulong, one of the dragon sons, Long Hao Yin.